Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to PanGeekery Podcast, a live weekly video podcast celebrating all things geek from an all-diverse perspective. And we're going to talk about a whole bunch of things, TV, movie, video games, covering all the nooks and crannies of fandom. My name is Earl. I am your resident sci-fi and video game geek.
Hi, I'm Jen. I am a video game geek and sci-fi mystery fantasy geek.
Hi, I'm Kaitlyn. I'm just the weird one who's into all kinds of fandoms and franchises, and I'm just a fan follower.
And I'm Walter. I am your comic book geek, mostly Marvel. I'll do DC from time to time.
Damn.
Ooh, shots fired.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 7 of the podcast.
Yay!
Really quick, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Jimmy John's, and their awesome $10 box lunch. Mm-hmm. Thank you for sponsoring this program.
Unwich.
And the gargantuan Unwich, man. And thank you to PWC, the Filipino Worker Center, our location sponsors. Thank you. So we're going to be talking a whole bunch of stuff that's been happening this past week.
So much stuff.
Universe. So much stuff. But before we get to that, how's everybody been this past week?
Oh, interesting.
Super.
I'm still here.
I didn't.
Yeah?
Yeah, no, that's
Something
great.
to celebrate.
No, we're
all still
we're
here.
very proud that you're here.
Me too, Jen.
Yeah, I'm very proud
Me
of you.
Why are you laughing, Earl?
No, my hands smell like Unwich.
All right, best excuse I've ever heard. Wow, gross, you guys. Anyway, so I had an incident happen where I was working, where this guy comes into the restaurant and basically I greet him and I go like, "Hey, welcome. How are you doing?" And he basically puts his fist to his hand, bows, and says, "Konnichiwa." To me,
Not even the right pronunciation.
Not even the right pronunciation. I mean, like he's speaking Japanese to me, a Chinese American, while doing like a Shaolin monk, like yes, sifu, like master type of like while bowing, and I'm like, you need to like. I don't know. You need to take like at least one history class. Just like at least one. Go to a community college.
Talking about that guy is so
just go to one.
cultured.
He's so woke.
He's so worldly.
Yeah,
that reminds me, I worked on this show once, and I was an Asian mariachi for a bit.
An Asian mariachi.
Yeah. It's all it's already.
Do
right.
tell, Earl.
And it right before the show, one of the writers comes up to us and he says, "Hey, is there like an Asian song y'all can sing?" And we're like,
sing
like,
the song
what?
of Asia.
Hold on.
Sakura.
It's all because of you. I'm feeling sad. Sukiyaki?
Wow, that's before our time, you guys.
Yeah, sorry.
Damn.
Just kidding.
So
Anyway.
now I'm thinking of like Filipino songs.
We'll have a night where we karaoke all of these, the Chinese and the Filipino songs.
Not tonight.
Not
Not
Chinese
tonight.
opera
Non-
songs.
Not
non-English
tonight.
language,
Today,
yeah.
I'm just calling out that man who said konnichiwa to me. Just like, don't be rude, man. Think about it. Like, Asian people don't like to be otherized and feel foreign in their own countries. Like, never assume that somebody needs to speak in another language unless they express to you that they want to be spoken to in that language. Otherwise, you just look like an idiot.
You literally spoke to him in English, though, in like perfect
I did.
English.
I said, "Hey, welcome. How are you doing?" And
Was
he was like,
he-
"Konnichiwa."
So was he being sarcastic?
No,
sure.
he had a smile on his face. He thought he was doing the best thing ever. He was like glowing, going in the restaurant. He's like, "Yeah," and then he walks in.
This is
like,
gonna win
not
me some
giving it
points.
like a second thought
Right.
whatsoever.
How old is this guy?
He was like in his 60s or something.
Oh, maybe that's why.
What else are people up?
Yeah, what have we been up to?
Well, tomorrow I officially launch the Seed and Spark video campaign for the film that I will be directing next month. It's something that I wrote, and it's an all-female producer cast, producer crew. Not really the cast. We're still doing casting. And yeah, so it's going to be really fun. Some of the producers and we created like a few videos talking about, it's a story about love and desperation and gay men. So
So Brokeback Mountain.
yeah, it's kind of like Chasing Amy but flipped.
Right.
So we all talked about terrible friend zone and rejection stories that we've all had in the past. It's gonna be marvelous. So that was fun, and tomorrow it launches. So we'll see how much moolah we can get out of it.
Awesome.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
Congrats. It's
Yeah.
exciting.
Thank you.
Donate, subscribe, click the like button.
Follow.
Follow.
Thanks.
As for me, like, this past weekend's been awesome. Just watched Game of Thrones and went to a Game of Thrones party and
Wait, you have friends who throw parties?
Dang.
I
What's
paid
Game of
'em.
Thrones?
Game of what? Game of hose? What?
Hose, yeah.
That's
Game
for-
of Hose, yeah. Game of
And then
Hose.
today, yeah,
That's for after the stream.
yeah, exactly.
That's
And
the
then
after
today,
party.
the podcast that I did for Strength and Gaming came out today. So
That's right.
Nice.
check it out. Check
Put the
friends of our
link.
podcast. Yeah, Strength and Gaming. I was part of their celebrity gamer part
celebrity
4.
now.
Yeah,
He's
made it.
famous.
Yeah.
Too highbrow to be on this
Following Earl's
show.
footsteps. Yeah.
Who's that? Who's that guy?
Wow.
And it's actually it's pretty hilarious. Like I guess we were just listening to it myself. Just the whiskeys that we were. We just kept
You were
pouring.
drinking?
We were drinking while
Yeah,
we were
there's
doing
Oh
it.
alcohol
wow, I got to
involved.
see this.
And it was like
Yeah.
very stream of thought conversation, and
Yeah.
I bet.
so
All right.
it was pretty entertaining.
It's a lot of shooting the shit. I like it. It was fun.
Yeah.
Shit.
Shooting the shit.
love it.
chopping
We
it
talked
up.
about you guys a little bit.
Oh, you
and
Okay,
did.
now
we
I
talked
really
about
want
the
to see
show.
this.
Can't wait to
episode.
hear.
Yeah.
Is it a video podcast as well?
No, they're
okay, I gotta listen.
Just regular podcast.
Okay.
So
Let's check it out, Jen, when we go to your house later.
Yeah,
And we-
that's
it-
true.
yeah,
She
the
invites
conversation
herself
went-
over.
we went over because we didn't even realize how much time passed. So
Oh, wow.
the episode's almost like 2 hours.
It is.
What?
It is
Or
almost
like
2
2
hours.
An hour and a half,
Usually goes
hour and a
to-
half
yeah.
or something
Yeah.
like that.
Shot
too.
the fucking shit. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, we were.
The shit has been dead
shit has
for
been shot.
hours.
Yeah.
Lots of shit all over the place. Shit covering the walls.
Damn. Okay.
Oh man. Okay.
I want to be
All right.
invited to drink and talk for 2 hours.
Oh, Jen's next, right?
I'm
No,
next.
Jen already went.
Oh, you already went.
Konnichiwa.
No.
No,
she's
no.
going.
That's
Strength
my
and
point.
Gaming.
Oh, sorry.
No, as in I'm getting invited to Strength and
Oh,
Gaming.
I thought you meant like talking
Welcome
about
to the channel, Caitlin. Anyway, so yeah,
Wow.
for in May 3rd is when I'm gonna go in for Strength and Gaming, and I'm really
Awesome.
looking forward to it because I've always wanted to talk about gaming in depth, and dig deep. So here goes.
Yeah.
Here goes.
Exciting.
Cool. What have I been doing this week? I watched more Twin Peaks because it's taking me a really long time to get through it. I took headshots this Sunday again, so
Nice.
for the first time in 4 years because I apparently look different now.
40 years, you said?
No, 4 years.
4 years.
4 years.
Oh, 4 years. I thought you said 40 years.
4
I'm like,
years.
dear God, you had
vampire. But
Tell
yeah,
Keanu I said hi then.
I know.
Yeah.
Him and Nick Cage.
You must be
and,
friends with
God.
Keanu Reeves.
yeah,
I-
and,
He was
I
in
still
Dracula.
am hot for Keanu, please.
Who is
how
he?
are
Please
you
just
not?
know.
How can you not?
Yeah, man.
He was my first celebrity crush.
Really?
Yeah.
What movie did it?
Matrix, of course.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, see,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it wasn't Bill and Ted's? No.
No, not
Well,
Bill and Ted.
no.
Have you seen
Oh.
Point Break?
Oh, yeah, Point Break. Yeah.
I didn't get to see it, but there's a theater show called Point Break Live.
Yeah.
What?
That was amazing. Apparently, they
But-
like shot water at the audience and were like
sick.
boogie
But you should
boarding and
watch
stuff.
the Point Break
Point
movie
Break?
with Keanu
Is he like
Reeves.
When did that one
hot
come out?
AF?
90s?
Yeah.
Wasn't he in that one
Yeah,
in the
well, I was a
bus with
fetus,
Sandra
so-
Bullock?
Speed.
Speed,
Yeah.
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 I still haven't seen that one.
You know that
It's
old
actually-
movie called
I mean, I know it's 1994, right?
It's a good
Yeah.
film.
It's
I mean,
actually, yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Speed was
Yeah.
a good
it's a
movie.
good action
Yeah.
film. Yeah.
Speed 2.
But that didn't have Keanu in it.
That's right.
Oh.
So that was your
Yeah.
first celebrity crush.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
wow. Mine was Heath Ledger.
Oh,
I
Heath
really
Ledger.
From
liked-
10
and-
Things?
10 Things?
Yeah. Well, I liked him because of A Knight's Tale.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I like that.
I also
movie.
like Leo in Titanic.
I
so,
liked Leo
yeah.
in Titanic
Yeah,
too.
so maybe he was my first one.
One
Leo,
of
yeah.
one of my like horrible exes looked
Sorry.
like Leo
Totally went
DiCaprio.
on tell us about what you've been up to.
This is all I've been up to.
When did you fall in
PanGeekery
love
and-
with Keanu Reeves?
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure?
Got it.
Excellent.
Excellent.
They're making a remake.
Yeah.
Or
No,
it's
no,
a
sequel.
sequel.
It's
Sequel?
part 3.
Sequel. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jonathan Winters and Keanu
They're-
Reeves are on board. It's
Very
awesome.
cool.
I read
Anyway.
the synopsis for it, and it's pretty funny.
Oh, I can't wait. I so can't wait. I think that movie like single-handedly shaped a lot of like 90s culture.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I can't wait to see what they have in store.
So you're weak, Earl.
What?
So you're
You're
weak?
weak?
Yeah.
How'd
my
it go?
week. It's been good. Other than that, everything's fine. But like, let's get into to what we're going to talk about this week.
Got it.
So we're going to talk about Game of Thrones. That's the thing that happened this past Sunday, episode 2. What was the title?
A Knight of the Seven
A
Realms.
Knight of the Seven Realms. Yeah, there you go. It didn't show up on HBO
Realms?
when I.
Is it Seven Realms? Seven Kingdoms.
Seven Kingdoms.
Seven Realms. I'm thinking of like Nutcracker or some shit.
The realms of men.
Yeah, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms.
Vanaheim.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Avengers Endgame, that trailer. The movie's coming out on Thursday. And again, a reminder about the death pool for Game of Thrones. If you have not signed up for it yet, I'm pretty sure this week is going to be your last week because the Battle for Winterfell is
People will
happening
start dropping.
on Sunday. It's going to be nuts.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
they could still fill it out, right? All the way
Right.
up until the end. 'Cause-
But-
we'll
Yeah, but
ask
it only
Randy about
counts
that.
if, like,
Rodney
hey,
about
surprise, maybe no one dies. This is Game of Thrones. We never really know
You know,
Yeah,
what they're
that's
gonna
somehow I feel like that's implausible.
Well,
that. We'll see.
just saying.
We'll talk about it.
Clearly,
Yeah.
Caitlyn hasn't
And
watched the series.
just a little
Clearly,
reminder.
you can shut your face, Walter.
Wow.
Whoa, we don't
Hey,
need that kind of
No
violence.
side fighting.
If you have
Boys
any
and
questions, ask them in chat, and we'll try to get to them by the end of the episode. About anything you want. So first off, news. Star Trek. Yeah.
Yeah.
Walter.
So they're doing this new Star Trek movie or series, I believe, and there's a bunch of Alison Pill, Harry Treadaway.
Alison Pill.
Treadaway has been cast, but
Wait, so new actors? Or
yeah, young.
But still Patrick Stewart. I think
wait, the show
think
or
it's like-
movies?
it's a show.
it's a show,
Oh, it's a show. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
and it's gonna be.
I thought it was the movie.
It's a continuation, right? I think.
Let me look. I have to look. now.
Totally
But,
ready
I
with
mean,
this information.
The whole. There's the logo, but the whole big news for me
Yeah.
personally is Issa Briones is
Nice.
was
That's
cast.
right. I heard
Yeah.
about this. Yeah.
And and it's more of a personal connection because like for Film Creative Voices, I was able to
Right.
interview her father,
dad,
John
yeah.
John
Briones, wonderful theater actor and TV and screen actor. You know, he was he played the father of Darren Criss in American Crime Story.
I didn't know
No,
that.
American Crime Story or
Yeah, assassination of
The
Gianni
Gianni
Versace.
Versace.
oh, there we go.
Yeah,
yeah.
So he
Andrew
played the dad.
Cunanan.
Yeah, he was
Right.
Andrew Cunanan's dad.
Oh, didn't know that.
So, so that
Pretty-
was like hearing
yeah.
that news. I was like, oh, that's pretty
Right.
awesome.
No, she's pretty prominent in the Asian American community. You
Yeah.
know, like she was recently
I
in.
auditioned alongside her for
For East West
Really?
Players? Was
yeah
it their
for
production?
for oh my gosh, why am I
Next to Normal.
the next? I was going to say the new normal. Next to normal.
Next to Normal.
We both auditioned for the same part. She got it, and I totally did not. I didn't even get a call back. yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember she was sitting next to me.
She
Which was
got
cool. Yeah.
She was Peggy in Hamilton.
Oh,
right.
wow.
She's on the
Yeah,
tour.
Recently. Yeah.
On the
Dang,
Netflix.
that's
she
another
finished
one I
that.
haven't gotten.
Yeah.
Hamilton.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Good
mean,
for her.
Yeah, so Earl's right. Like it's Jean-Luc Picard. I guess his retirement years and what else happens. I guess I'm assuming
Right.
whether it's a series on CBS and it might be the same as the new Star Trek, maybe available online, like on streaming service. But
Oh.
we'll see. I mean, I don't know how. I mean, it's pretty successful. Like, well, the streaming service, I think people are following it, watching.
CBS
it.
Live.
I watch it a few times, but it's interesting. Like retirement years of Jean-Luc Picard.
So it's going to be like Jean-Luc Picard's Logan.
Yeah.
His old man Logan.
Yeah. So I'm assuming one of these guys are gonna be his kids and maybe chasing their
Their
Starfleet.
their Federation. Yeah.
That's gonna be interesting. I don't know.
They just released the cast, right? So they haven't.
yeah,
actually
they're
story
starting
yet.
putting out like
Okay, gotcha.
cast announcements and stuff like that. So
When
I
was
guess
the
I'll give
last
it.
time we had a Star Trek show?
Well, they had
is
the Star
Discovery.
Discovery.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
But it was streaming. It was.
And they also
it
have
was part of the
Orville.
streaming Orville's not.
Not
It's like
really.
a parody.
It's a
Oh,
parody of
I see.
That's
It's
not
like
real
Galaxy
Star Trek.
Quest.
Yeah.
Galaxy Quest meets Star Trek.
Yeah.
is
Gotcha.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which was
True,
an interesting season finale that I just
I heard it was really good. Like I saw the headline of a title that was like Orville has finally matured into its sci-fi roots, and I've not seen it, so I have no opinions of it. But
yeah, and I catch up on it from time to time because my flatmate watches Orville, and so
you're so British, flatmate.
I know, flatmate.
My flat.
my flat.
Mate.
Hi, mate.
Well,
Do you watch Orville?
I just like saying flatmate because it sounds like if I roommate, it sounds like I'm sleeping in the same room with him. Yeah.
Is that
You just
bad?
turned into
Australian, eh?
you literally just turned to Christopher Walken. Christopher
Walken.
Walken.
You just flew across the
It's-
Pacific.
It's like I have a roommate.
Don't hurt yourself, Walter.
It's all good. It's all good.
I gotta
So
watch.
All right, let's let Earl be the voice actor here.
we got another trailer that dropped.
Kaitlyn just smacked Walter, just so you know.
The last Dark Phoenix trailer just dropped.
Sophie Turner.
Sophie Turner is looking pretty badass in it. And
Yeah.
if nobody know, well, if you don't know, Dark Phoenix is an X-Men story arc that took place in the 80s that was written by Chris Claremont. Was it Joe Shuster? And no. I forgot. Cockburn? I'm forgetting my stuff right now. But this is going to be, the third movie in this kind of arc since, First Class.
First Class. And then-
Days of Future Past, Apocalypse, and now this. So the fourth movie. But it's going to still tell the story of Jean Grey, who gets possessed by this cosmic being called the Phoenix Force, and all the kind of havoc that wreaks. It's kind of like a force of nature. So she's not in control of herself. But I don't know. Did you guys watch the trailer?
Yes.
What did you think?
The trailer looks good, but it's a trailer, so
Right. I know,
They're
dude.
made to look good.
they're made to look good. And I mean, yes, she looks great as Jean Grey, and
Right.
I'm always a fan of Sophie Turner. I just, like I said, I just wish this was in Marvel's hands.
Right.
And if she was Jean Grey in Marvel's hands, I'd be more
A little more. Yeah.
What is this,
stoked
Fox?
about it. This is still Fox, yeah.
Right.
Didn't they
who's
just
running it.
merge with someone?
Correct, but they
Disney,
made this before
yeah.
the
Before
merger.
the
okay,
merger
gotcha,
happened.
okay.
So
And so that's why it should have been released like a year ago. But when Marvel, I think during the negotiations, they didn't want it released. And I from what I've heard, that they even did some pickup shots to try to improve the story or make it better. Supposedly, I think in Marvel's insistence.
right.
So we'll see. Hopefully, and I don't know if it's gonna maybe the pickup shots like somehow helps correlate it to maybe brings it into the
bigger,
Marvel
right.
universe. Like
That'll be
somehow the Phoenix Force destroys
Thanos
everything
cameo.
that Fox built, and brings them
God.
into the
Oh
Marvel
my God.
cinematic
Meta moment.
universe.
Well, I've always way in the back of my head, I'm like, what if they, whatever they're gonna do to like get people back out of the Soul Stone,
Yeah.
like they rip a dimensional hole, right? And then
Professor X.
yeah, dude,
Oh my god.
yeah, because come on,
Hot.
I mean,
Game.
Can I just say, does everything have to be connected? Like, can some stories just kind of exist on their
well,
own?
Deadpool
right now they
is.
can't.
But no, Deadpool doesn't exist on its own. Doesn't it kind of play into the MCU?
No, it's still
Yeah.
Fox X-Men
Oh.
universe.
Right. I mean,
But now it's going to be. But
It's
they're-
going to be.
but
maybe.
the two movies have not. They've been very much their own
Yeah.
films.
And I mean,
So
it's pretty
I don't
funny
know.
and
That's why,
successful. And so
that's why they had to pick like X-Men like heroes that were not from that universe, right? To put in Deadpool. Is that
no, they're
correct?
still X
Or are they
heroes.
already?
they were
Yeah,
they were
like
actually like
Colossus.
like X-Force. Yeah,
right.
is a
It's an
derivative
X.
of.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But it's a series from the comic books, and those guys that they had in Deadpool 2, Shatterstar, Domino. They were all from X-Force comic books, who were part of that X-Men lineage. They were like spin-off comic
Like
books.
X Force, X Factor, New
New
Mutants.
Mutants, which is
Also
that's-
coming out.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, because that film was already made as well. It's just
it's
still under Fox. So
And they designed it instead of a regular comic book movie. They're making it look like a horror, like a suspense
it takes
horror
place in the
asylum.
asylum. Yeah, So
It's kind of a tangent, but
yeah, but
The more you know.
I don't know if I'm gonna watch it in the theaters, but I'll watch
Dark
it.
Phoenix?
Yeah,
I think we
Shouldn't
should
it be watched in the theaters?
matinee.
We're
Matinee.
PanGeekers.
Matinee, maybe.
Matinee.
At the Edward Renaissance for $6.
I'm pretty confident I'm not the only one who's very skeptical of how this Dark Phoenix.
Well, remember
I'm
at WonderCon,
super-
people
Yeah,
were like, "Yeah, this is gonna suck."
Yeah, what's her,
Right.
I'm blanking on her name, but yeah,
The half naked chick.
half naked chick.
Is she watching this? Right
She's
Madeline
watching right
Pryor.
Yeah.
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 Then that Madeline Pryor cosplayer. Hey, what's up? But yeah, I just the track record of this recent block of X-Men films has been like so.
I mean, the whole purpose of like the Days of Future Past too, they kind of erased all those
X3,
other X-Men
right.
movie.
Right,
So
right.
maybe this Dark Phoenix will erase everything else to make it part of MCU.
Right,
Why do you
we'll
guys
see.
think it's not going to be great? Or why is there so much talk that it's not going to be good?
It's a track record of the past few movies.
Of
You
Fox.
just know where it's going.
Of
It's
X-Men.
not good.
Of X-Men
and Brian
specifically.
Yeah, and Brian Singer as
His
the director
right.
So what's
But
so bad about it?
the actual director is Simon Kinberg
for this one.
who wrote X3.
But I thought that one was terrible. I
Even-
saw it.
was, yeah, it was
Exactly.
horrible.
I don't remember much. I just remember Jean Grey
I just remember
and
the
Wolverine getting it on
Right,
on
right.
a
Golden Gate
table.
Bridge.
Yeah.
So he wrote this
I
and
thought it was hot. My
directed it.
16-year-old self
I was like,
thought it was hot.
whoa.
Let's hope he's grown and learned as a
Yeah,
director. and a
I'm
writer.
totally
13
about
years
that.
ago,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. I
Yeah.
hope so too. I just I don't want to spend the money to watch it in
Okay.
like full price.
Well,
you know
we'll
what I'm
have our producer Rodney pay for it.
yeah.
Thanks, Rodney.
Thanks, Rodney. Or Jimmy John's.
Yeah. So we had something that we kind of neglected last week when we were talking about Star Wars.
Wow.
You got it right.
I'm thinking really
Wow.
hard. Star
Thanks,
Wars celebration is they released a trailer for Star Wars Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So Jen.
Yeah, they did. That's all I have to say. No, they absolutely did. I mean, so this is the 7th season that is coming out. They had 6 seasons, and they started way back when, right? They actually
well ago.
Years ago.
Yeah, they started the Clone Wars animation TV series way long ago, and it helped fill in a lot
A
of
galaxy
blanks.
far away. Sorry.
Yeah,
went
that's
out.
right. Oh God. Here we go.
I'm
At least we know we're in the
face-palming.
same universe.
Right.
But yeah, so it helped fill in a lot of gaps that perhaps like the first 3 in the trilogy left hanging, haphazardly.
Right.
So that helped a lot. I mean, the Clone Wars has been largely known as really amazing, and well written, even for an animation series. And like
It's
kind
great.
of not just for children either. Like there's some really
No.
dark and violent themes.
We should
explored.
marathon it. What do you guys
I'm
think?
down with
We
that.
could,
From
yeah.
season 1.
I literally have like a watch list of Clone Wars in chronological order because the way it was released was not in chronological order. It kind of hops around.
Oh, okay.
But, I have a list that
Like a master viewing list.
yeah.
Wow.
I mean, the
good.
funny thing about the Clone Wars is that the Jedi stuff is cool in Clone Wars. It's fun. The really good stuff is the Clone Trooper stuff,
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
and that's like that. I don't know. That's my favorite part of it.
What season is that?
It's kind of all over the place because
Okay.
like it's non-chronological. So yeah, but
And there was like 2 different versions of Clone Wars, right?
right.
And yeah, I found that interesting because I got confused when I started trying to delve into that series. And then someone later on, I forget where I read it, but it's weird because the perspective, and then I watched it again after reading this, and I saw what they were talking about. Like, one is kind of like from the perspective of the Empire, while
Right.
the other one is from the perspective of the Rebel Alliance. And it's just the message is different. And I forgot which one was the better one.
I forget too because like I haven't made it all the way through. the
Better
series
is
either.
subjective.
Yes.
But
Depending on which side.
It's definitely like
Well, the animation's different
Oh.
too, and then I think it was the later one because the writing was more. Or no, I'm sorry, it might have been the earlier one because they were saying the writing was more aggressive and it wasn't so flowery. Like that's what it was. The Empire one was more cartoony, flowery, like oh yeah, and everything. But the one that was through the perspective of the rebels, it was like
a lot
just
darker.
and it was more violent and it was more just the dialogue too was just more sharper.
Wow.
Did this ever play on Cartoon Network? What network was this originally playing off? Was it all online?
I don't remember because I watched it all on
I saw
Netflix.
something on Cartoon Network, or was
You
it
might-
like
you might
MTV or
be-
something?
I want to
might be
say
correct,
I
yeah.
want to say
It's
Cartoon
Cartoon
Network.
Cartoon Network.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
That's when it first came out.
Because I had to wait until it was on streaming to watch it.
Ah, okay.
So
Okay.
And I still haven't gone the whole way through.
So where
could
can
totally-
we watch this?
I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix still, but it's probably going to be on Disney Plus come November.
Yeah.
As will half
So-
of all
Yeah.
content out there. Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Disney just
They're gonna
went
Thanos Disney. yeah.
Basically,
From
yeah.
Netflix.
half
Yeah.
of
Can
all
Disney-
the
Half
content
of all the Disney
on streaming
content.
disappears.
Maybe
Um,
Disney should be our one of our sponsors. 'Cause
We can only
we
hope.
can
Hey,
Disney
what's up?
swag.
Yeah.
I know.
But anyway, so
'Cause
like
clearly
they,
Fox is not going to sponsor us anymore
Yeah.
after what I've said.
Oh no. But anyway, so like they never finished the series and they actually took a long hiatus and like people weren't able to see like the end of the Clone
Right.
Wars saga for a long time. So them announcing that season 7 is coming out is actually a big deal because season
Super.
7 is going to wrap up the entire series.
So this is the final season.
This is the final
Okay.
one.
We should
Yeah.
totally do it. It'll be our next series
Let's
after Game of Thrones.
let's marathon it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Do it.
Party at Earl's house.
Yeah, we can just
Party
sit in my
like
room
it.
and all wear
Party
headphones
like it.
together. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So some non-Disney news anyway. Halo, based on the
The
Bungie.
Beyonce music video.
Yes, based on the Beyonce music video.
A bunch of ears just perked up. Apparently,
I know.
we just gained we just gained 500 followers just right now, just by mentioning her name.
Oh man.
Halo, based on the Bungie video game of the same name, starring the Spartan John. Master Chief. They have a new TV series, right, Kaitlyn?
Yeah, Showtime is actually gearing up to do a TV series on the famous video game Halo. So, computer game. Sorry.
Oh my gosh, she's speaking like the famous computer games. Halo.
You played on a PC, right?
I played on Xbox back in the day.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So yeah, Halo. Halo.
Oh my goodness.
It was available on PC though.
Yeah.
I always saw people playing it on PC.
The
So,
original
like,
LAN
yeah,
parties.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
I never actually
Hardwired
played
LAN
Halo.
parties.
So that's going to be on Showtime, and they just released the casting for Master
Showtime.
Chief, which is actor Pablo Schreiber. I think I'm
Right.
saying that correct. He's from Orange is the New Black, American Gods.
He plays Max
he was
Sweeney, yeah.
he was the main villain in Den of Thieves from last year.
Right, that's right.
that's
Den of
him.
Thieves.
That's
I
him.
actually
Go.
saw that.
Yeah, so he's playing Master Chief, which, for those of you who don't know, is the Earth's most advanced warrior in the 26th century and the only hope of salvation for a civilization pushed to the brink of destruction by the Covenant, an unstoppable
Covenant.
alliance of alien worlds committed to the destruction of humanity.
The Arbiter.
Yeah, that was a lot. That was a mouthful.
That was great. That was
There's
very
a-
seductive.
Thank you. There's a newcomer, Yeren Ha. She's been cast as Kwan-Ah, I think is how you pronounce the character. She's a 16-year-old from the Outer Colonies who meets the Master Chief at a fateful time for both of them.
I just don't know if
Ooh.
she's part of the canon.
No, I think she's
probably
new,
gonna be a
right?
new
Yeah, she's a new
character
character.
introducing.
Interesting.
She's gonna be the damsel in distress, but she'll be the one who ends up saving him.
Oh shit! It's like
Oh.
I do wonder where this is going to take place in the if it's going to be part of the canon or the continuity of the video games, or if it's going to be something like
Just
completely
a side
mean,
side
there's-
adventure for
right.
Master Chief.
Master Chief. It's still going to be the Master Chief, right? It sounds
Yeah.
like, but
yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's like, yeah, they've made a bunch of different series for him, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's like some.
Right.
It's like the Halo version of Leon the Professional.
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
Oh my
Have
god.
you seen that?
That's where he was.
Yeah, with
yeah,
Natalie
totally.
Portman.
Natalie
and-
Portman,
yeah.
but like
Yeah.
it's
She was way
Master Chief
younger,
and
though.
then-
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was like 11. She got cast in that to like a Lolita role.
I remember watching that and I was like, this is weird.
A little
Yeah.
bit.
She actually got a lot of creep mail.
Oh, I'm
I
sure.
can
that.
imagine.
God.
No, even years
Poor
afterwards.
Natalie
Right.
Portman.
There was
yeah.
a website online counting down to the hour that she would turn
turned
18.
18.
Oh,
Like,
that's
if that won't mess you up, I
gross.
don't know what will. Yeah.
That is so
I
gross.
saw one of those for the Olsen twins back in the day.
Oh, that's
I remember
gross.
that.
You remember that?
Yeah.
I'm like, who
He's
are
like,
these people?
I signed up.
I
Oh my
know.
God.
The countdown.
for the notifications.
bookmark on his like
bookmark,
Yahoo
yeah.
account or something.
Now it's
Oh
like
my
it's just a
God.
counting
my
up
bookmark
to
bar?
Now it's
till they're
like
35 or
Billy
something. I don't know.
Miller, Bobby Brown. Now
Millie
it's,
Bobby Brown.
Billy Miller, Bobby Brown, whatever the fuck I just
I'm
said.
like, what white man are you
11.
naming?
From Stranger Things.
Millie Bobby
Yeah.
Brown, right?
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah.
She's like
Is there?
15.
I wouldn't
don't
be
know.
surprised if there is.
I
but-
bet,
there's
there's
gotta
one
be.
for her now.
I'm sure
Please
there
no, please no.
If there are like celebrity feet websites, there's
Yeah, there's if you can
it's
if you
for
conceive
real.
of it,
Yeah, yeah.
the
And
There's
internet
porn
is
of it.
dark.
It's Rule
full of
34
terrors.
of the internet.
Of the internet, yeah. The internet is dark and full of terrors.
It is. It's worse than the North. So
man.
beyond the wall, I should say. So I guess back to Marvel news. They're apparently making an Eternals movie, which Jen has some news about.
Oh, I do. Yes. So yeah, Marvel's The Eternals is coming out as a show, and they actually have casted Korean actor Ma Dong-seok, who is actually from. Wow, there's a little tiny wasp that flew in. Hello, wasp.
Wasps are not bros.
No, they're our friends. Thanks for joining PanGeekery. So basically, Ma Dong-seok is also known as Don Lee. This is his first American film, and especially with a big major motion picture studio in America. So
Don't mess it up, bro.
you know, this is your big chance.
He was awesome in Train to Busan.
He's in Train
Yeah.
to Busan. Yeah.
I liked them in that one.
So, and Train to Busan is a really excellent Korean zombie horror film, which is
Ayla
actually really
Kingdom.
funny. For me, it was like
is.
extremely funny. It was like campy, but very scary.
Scary, yeah.
But also like, you know, like
some-
straightforward zombie like. It didn't really need to pull any pranks. But anyway, so The Eternals is about an entire like race of like almost like Titan-like creatures, right? That were created by the Celestials in the Marvel universe. Thanos is one of such beings, right?
Yep, he's an Eternal.
Yeah. So let's see who else. I think
And for people who don't know, Celestial are the people who were like basically in
space
Guardians of
gods.
the Galaxy,
Mm-hmm.
Nowhere.
Right,
That
Nowhere.
head that Nowhere is placed on, that's Celestial for reference for you.
We actually do see a Celestial like alive in one of the flashbacks in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
Oh.
When they talk about the Power Stone.
Oh well, no, and then Wong explains it in Infinity Gauntlet.
That too, right? Yeah. So we see them a couple places actually.
Mm-hmm.
They're basically these giant suits of armor that are
Yeah.
actually.
I mean,
gods.
they're cosmic, so they're
Yeah.
gigantic to us.
right.
Yeah. Well, one of the Eternals is going to be named Cersei, but with an S instead of a C.
Right.
Is that
And-
like a reference to Greek mythology or
So
Probably.
all the Eternals in the Marvel universe turn into like gods.
that makes sense then.
Yeah. So they run into the Olympians as well. So,
Gotcha.
right.
But yeah, so Angelina Jolie is in talks to play Cersei.
No way.
Yeah, I mean, it's still like
Oh, she hasn't
potential
confirmed.
news.
She hasn't confirmed it, or it's
I
not
don't know.
confirmed?
I don't know. It just says like they're in talks for it.
Interesting.
Is what they're saying.
Interesting.
But yeah.
It's kind of crazy. They're just pulling out like all the like the way back backcountry
Yeah, I would
like
have never.
Marvel stuff.
That's left field for
Yeah,
me.
it's super
I
left
didn't
field.
when they announced that, I was like,
Eternals,
what?
really? Does anybody care about the Eternals?
I mean,
but, you know,
I could see the strategy. It's like I guess like because it worked for Guardians of the Galaxy,
right? Because
mean-
Guardians of the Galaxy
It
was,
was just
a
like
D
C-list,
team,
they're
like
D-
yeah, dude, it was
If Lord of the Rings is going back to the Third Age,
right or Second Age.
Second Age,
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I'm guessing that the Eternals, from what I've read so far, it might start with like their origin, but or it might be like
The origin of the Eternals themselves? Or
Yeah.
yeah, but it's
Okay.
probably gonna be someone like walking the modern day streets of L.A. or New York, whatever, and then
And he's an Eternal,
kind of like the
right.
way Captain Marvel storyline went, right? Like, in modern, but it's flashing back to her origin story. And then
I see.
if Angelina Jolie is the lead, who from what I've read might be the thread, because her character Cersei is she's very aloof and like she liked the presence or being around
Right.
humans or mortals, and she traveled and lived in society.
Right. She's actually the Circe from Greek
Greek
mythology.
mythology.
Yes.
The
And
witch who commands the
Right.
pigs.
So
and all
she
that.
was in,
Right.
and she was in like, according to the comic books and the lore, like she was in pivotal moments in human history. She was there, you know.
Odysseus.
Yeah.
Odysseus.
and she might have been responsible for the creation of some of the heroes.
So that makes sense then.
Cool,
why
cool,
they
cool.
didn't include her character in
So
that.
yeah, she might be the anchor that leads the story.
Didn't Angelina Jolie she played like Alexander the Great's mother in that one awful Colin
remember.
Colin Farrell film?
Oh, which one was that?
No, I-
Colin Farrell, like a Greek
He
warrior?
played Alexander.
Oh, right,
it was
yeah,
called
yeah.
Alexander.
It was just straight
and
up called Alexander.
It was like
Okay.
it fucking tanked. And Angelina Jolie plays like almost like a Greek goddess type woman with liquid
wasn't
eyeliner.
she in trouble? Like
She goes-
controversy because she was playing an Egyptian woman.
It's because she had like a fake accent. She's like, "You will be the greatest warrior
yeah,
He had
the world
he had
has ever
50s,
seen."
yeah.
And we're like, "What kind of fucking accent is that?"
it's like a general accent. What kind of accent is it? Oh, it's an accent.
It was panned by critics.
Yeah.
Well, now maybe she could play another Greek mythological.
Yeah, and I
heroine.
mean because I think they got into controversy for her playing like color washing, like
color
or
washing?
color bending. Sorry,
You mean
Race
race
bending.
Race bending
Get
and
off the
person
show,
of color.
Walter.
Oh my god.
Go home.
That sounds like airbending. It's like,
I want to
Color
be an
bend.
airbender.
Color bending?
Dude, can you be? Imagine that being a color bender.
Color bend my
I think
hair.
that's, I think that's just called being a visual
Color.
artist.
I know. So something else dropped this week. The Godzilla trailer, the new Godzilla trailer.
Ooh, Gojira.
Gojira.
Godzilla.
And it looks pretty awesome. It is again, it's in the continuity of the last American Godzilla movie. Ken Watanabe is in it, and it's starring obviously
Tom
Millie
Cruise.
Brown. Yes,
And Zizang.
Zhang Ziyi.
Zhang
Zhang
Ziyi.
And Millie
All right,
Bobby
nice try.
Brown.
Nice try, everyone. Nice try.
The door's that way.
No.
GTFO.
But
Let
the
me
trailer
try.
looks pretty awesome. We see like a lot more footage of like all the kaiju, Ghidorah, Mothra.
Kaiju.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh my God, calm down.
What is going on?
Bless you. Bless you.
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa. No, you have to say it the way he said it to me. It was like,
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa.
Gaiju.
What's up, Fresh and
Gaijin
Steezy?
desu.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Hello to the chat.
Who is it?
Yeah.
Fresh and Steezy.
Hey,
That's
Fresh
a cool
and
name.
Steezy.
fresh and steezy.
Oh, cool.
Oh, nice.
Oh, this Crystal. Hey, what's
okay.
up?
So, hi.
Crystal.
Oh,
Hello, Crystal.
Happy marriage.
Happy marriage.
Yeah.
Congrats your marriage.
Yeah.
The beginning.
Congratulations. That was hard.
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa. But yeah, the Godzilla trailer looks super cool. I'm pretty stoked for it.
Look at that.
Yeah,
gonna
I'm
be-
looking forward to
Gojira.
I'm looking
Gojira.
forward to Millie Bobby Brown playing a character outside of Stranger Things. Though I
Right.
imagine like they cast her because there's some level of similarity, right? There's some kind of like supernatural force going on. There's
Right.
thrilling action. She's probably going to be in the middle of it in some kind of way. I mean, if she's a child involved in a Godzilla story, she might have some kind of powers.
How
Maybe not
disap-
supernatural powers, but some kind of
Right.
ability.
She's got
I
that
was
little
gonna say,
tattoo on her
special.
face.
How
Right.
disappointed will you be if she pulls like an Aquaman and can talk to the monsters?
Oh,
What's wrong with that?
I'm
Like
just
she's
saying,
a
'cause-
kaiju whisperer.
Yeah.
Kaiju Whisperer.
Oh my goodness. Well, I don't know, but
Can
she
we get
looks
that offshoot
pretty
movie?
traumatized. Like she has the face of 11. You know, she's like, I'm traumatized.
Maybe that's just her face, Jen.
I'm gonna fight.
Let's not make assumptions, okay?
Look.
That's
It looks like her
I'm-
mom.
she's a
From the trailers,
fantastic
it looks like
actor.
her mom
She is.
fucked things up.
what?
Excuse my
What?
French.
Who's her mom? In
Her
the,
Yeah,
mom.
who's playing her mom? I forgot.
In
already.
the trailer, it looks like
Oh, it's Vera
Yeah.
Farmiga.
Who's
oh, wow.
Vera
Mom.
Farmiga?
Bates Motel.
Okay.
She was in Source Code.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it's a star-studded cast.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's going to be interesting to see
It's
all
good,
those
yeah.
faces face off against
You know what?
Gojira.
Gojira.
I'm kind of interested in. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say. Well, actually, Gojira,
Gojira.
he works for them eventually, right? And
Yes.
against these other
Yeah.
monsters.
Hmm.
Yeah, and is that not normally how it goes?
Yeah, that's
Like-
how it usually
usually
goes in the
goes,
That's
past.
usually
in
how
the
it ends
old,
up,
In
right?
the old Japanese Godzilla movies.
They realize he's like a force of nature.
Yeah.
And then
He's
like,
just there to
yeah.
protect the earth.
Right. And then he
By
has to
stomping
protect
on
the-
skyscrapers.
We've come a
Yeah.
long way
Destroying
from like
the other
those like
monsters.
old school
The tokusatsu.
Yeah,
like,
like stomping on paper
I
building.
like
Yeah.
those.
Oh, I love
There's a
them.
camp to it that's just
Yeah.
irreplaceable.
I'm
I mean,
looking
that's
forward
still-
to. Oh,
ahead.
sorry. Good. I was gonna say. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to the merchandise of this stuff.
Oh,
that's-
dude,
that
yeah,
comes
yeah.
out.
The Funko Pops.
Or anything.
You can't wait to lose your money.
But yeah, I mean the tokusatsu stuff is still really big in Japan, like the Kamen Rider stuff and the Super Sentai, like Power Ranger stuff.
I mean,
So
yeah, Ultraman and all that
Ultraman,
stuff.
yeah, that's that new series. I haven't watched it yet
Which
on Netflix.
I finished it.
But is it good?
Awesome.
Nice, I can't
Wow.
wait. But next we have some news in the video game realm. Fortnite and their Avengers event, which Rodney will actually
Pretty
talk
awesome.
about. Yeah.
Rodney?
Our producer.
Rodney.
We have a producer?
As the resident Fortnite player, the sucky Fortnite player.
Have people been popping into the streams?
Yeah, actually people have been
Oh, that's
watching.
great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So actually, Fresh and Steezy, she says she wants to play
Oh,
with.
dang.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So one of these days, but
Wow, she's hella good.
yeah. So if
For
people don't
Ashley.
know, like Fortnite's really famous for doing all these like events and stuff. Like they changed the game up and it's pretty amazing. Like they did the Marshmallow concert. During Avengers Infinity War,
Right.
you actually could pick up an Infinity Gauntlet and then become Thanos, and you could actually play as
the
Thanos.
Mad
Actually,
Titan.
wow.
And basically, you just it was
Wreck
it was
house.
hard to kill. Like he would just basically you just kill it, but it was like really really fun to watch. And they just released a teaser graphic, and it looks like they're going to be doing another teaser, like another crossover event. So with the teaser graphic, this one came out a few days ago,
The
and
vibranium
essentially
shield?
it's Captain America's shield. So I'm assuming if you find Captain America's shield, it'll probably become like Captain America. And then today they actually released another image, was Thor's hammer. So it might be one of those things where like
You'll
you
near
pick
or
a-
Stormbreaker.
Yeah, Stormbreaker.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's Stormbreaker. Yeah. So yeah, it looks really cool. I mean, we can't wait. It's gonna release on Thursday,
Oh, cool.
right before the release of the movie. So Fortnite usually updates on the Thursday of the week, so they'll probably do it, and they'll have like a. And what the cool thing about it too is like they have a bunch of different like game modes. So if you want to play that game mode, it's cool. If not, you don't have to. You can play the regular stuff. There's so many people that play, so I really do feel like it's gonna be a big deal. It'll be fun, and I think we should play.
Shoot,
Like,
I'm
we should
actually-
play.
Is it
Just
going to
hearing
be?
that story, I want to play.
Yeah. Is it going to be like the previous like Thanos thing where like only one player can be Thanos at a time? So like
Yeah,
only
so
one
essentially,
player
yeah,
can have
one player can be Thanos at a time, and people could kill him. But basically, everybody would the
to
whole
all
map
team
would
up.
be
take
at
it
him.
over. Yeah.
And the way it worked too is like he showed up on the map. So whoever was Thanos, you could actually
you would get
see him
pinged?
on the map.
Oh no.
So
way.
basically, all the players would go towards that person.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would converge, and then they would eventually kill him, and then you'd grab the gauntlet and become Thanos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't even hunt for the Infinity Gems by
No,
itself.
No,
no,
you
but
just
it's
get
not.
the
You just get the
gauntlet.
gauntlet, and you're automatically Thanos
Aw,
with the
man.
powers.
There's
and all
already
that
too
stuff.
much to do.
I mean,
with
there's only so
Fortnite.
much
You're
you
trying
can
to
do.
kill
Yeah.
each other. You're
In
trying
my
to build
head,
walls.
it
It's
looks
like,
like
yeah.
the beginning of Lord of the Rings with Sauron in the maze, just and, like waves. Of
Yeah,
people
exactly.
flying away.
I mean, you should, yeah. We'll definitely link like some like videos, like a bunch of people like recorded videos. Obviously, the streamers like Ninja and all those guys, and it's pretty cool because like it's literally like he's just stomping over it. Like, he's literally as soon as you're
Look that up
Thanos, you're
now.
like stomping it. So I'm really curious to see what like abilities you get with Cap's shield and with Thor's hammer.
Right.
You know what I
Just
mean?
get to
Because I'm
throw the
sure it's
shield
going to be
around.
like one of those things too. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
What's up, Oddball in the chat? Heart you too.
We heart you.
Yeah. But it's you said I mean it's always going to be on the Epic Store, but yeah. I mean I have it on my computer, so we could totally jump in.
I'm downloading
do
it.
it.
tonight.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, dude. I think we
have
should
it.
definitely one of the. We'll stream on PanGeekery.
Yeah.
I will do
Yeah.
that. We'll do that. Like maybe
Yeah.
we'll do it on the Twitch channel, like maybe Friday or Thursday or something, and we'll play some. It would be fun, dude. And it's harmless. It's like Fortnite
Thanks, man,
is.
just outing
It's
me that I don't do
hard.
anything
It's
on Friday
hard,
It's difficult.
but at the same time, it's just
I suck.
it's just a lot
I'm
of
not
fun.
good.
nights. Thanks, man, for outing
Yeah.
I'm
me that
not.
I don't do anything Friday nights.
I definitely don't do anything on Friday nights. I
do many
literally I
things on
streamed
Friday
last
nights.
Friday night. If nobody noticed,
Last
did?
Friday
Yeah.
But no
night.
one was looking out for you.
well, I mean, like I didn't tell anybody. I just kind of jumped in, and then but we had viewers because I auto hosted it on PanGeekery. So
Oh,
Nice.
sweet.
Yeah.
Good.
yeah, it was fun. We had like 4 or 5 people in the chat at least, I think.
Lovely.
So, yeah, I'm gonna do that later again. Now we get to our main topics for the episode. So this is where it happens. The super important stuff. First of all, we were just talking about Avengers, but Avengers Engame, that's dropping this Thursday. It's going to be the culmination of 10 years of Marvel movies. Wow. So all the way up to Phase 3. It's going to be the closing off. What does everybody feel? How does that feel for everybody so far?
Well,
Is there excitement?
I've been looking forward to this day.
I know, dude.
people's
so am I.
contracts
are expiring. Right?
Yeah, a lot of people
So
are.
does this mean the rest of the Avengers are going to be off in the movie?
Well, a lot of people are kind of trying to figure out what is going to happen. Like all over on Twitter, everybody's making like assumptions or like making guesses, have theories about like what's going to happen to all the characters. People are saying some people are going to take over the cowl. Like Sam might become, or Bucky might become Cap, like they did in the comic books.
Yeah, I mean, there's fate. There's other fate worse than death.
Right. Well, yeah, that
suppose
too.
so.
Like company transference or
Yeah.
We can be like the Red Skull, stuck.
Oh yeah. Like a shadow.
Yeah, shadow.
A shadow in the Soul Stone.
You could be. You could get your back broken like Batman.
Azrael.
Which is worse than death.
Yeah, just being a crippled, like a hero, and you were a superhero and you're disabled and you can't be a
Way to
hero
isolate
anymore.
our disabled audience members.
No, I'm just saying, like for these
A
heroes,
fate
for
worse
like
than death.
for like Captain America, like or even Rhodes. Well, no, to be fair, he did break his back and he's walking again thanks to like Stark technology.
Right.
So in Marvel Universe, technically, if you are crippled, if you had the money or friends with Tony Stark, you technically can walk. Or
sure.
or,
If they get her back.
Well, ooh, yeah. And then sorry, we're going on a tangent here, but but it's 10 years in the making. Well, 11.
11
sorta, right?
actually.
11.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
really.
Yeah.
Since Iron Man?
Yeah,
Yeah,
since
it's
Iron
been
Man,
11
the
years.
first one. Yeah.
Because when Infinity War came out, that was 10 years. So now it's 11 years.
Oh my
In the
gosh.
Iron Man one, I'm just curious, did they already start doing that special Easter egg stuff at the end of the movie?
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
when it started. Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
It was
So then, yeah,
all
Iron Man.
the whole tradition started from that very first Iron Man.
Right.
Robert Downey Jr. really made
Favre.
that role
Oh,
come
gosh,
alive on
yeah.
screen.
He did.
He really-
It could only be him, really.
And I mean, back then that was a risk. Like no one knew he could pull it off because
Right.
He wasn't like the stereotypical.
He was kind of an
superhero.
indie person.
Well,
right?
not just that, but
Well-
he was just coming off like the series of bad fortune, bad decisions.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
DUIs,
yeah.
getting busted for
Rehab,
drugs, rehab.
right.
Yeah, and
jail,
this was his
yeah.
like rebound role.
It really
And-
was.
He's a
And-
great person.
He's a great
though.
actor.
Yeah, and a great actor.
Yeah.
And the character Tony Stark was kind of like a non-character back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
His big thing.
I didn't
was
know
that
who he was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
His big thing was he was a billionaire and he was an alcoholic. That was the
Yeah.
big thing.
Yeah.
He was like
He was like not
he was like Batman,
Right.
but
Not
alcoholic.
Batman.
Exactly.
Right, right.
which is
And
not good enough.
Like Batman pretended to be a playboy.
Right.
This motherfucker was.
he
Tony
was.
Stark. Yeah,
Tony
yeah.
actually was.
Tony Stark. Yeah.
Sam.
You know what I'm saying?
And to be fair, like I didn't like Iron Man when I did
old
collected
comics?
comic books.
I don't because he
I
wasn't,
wasn't
fun to read.
I wasn't a fan of Avengers West Coast,
Right,
Which
right.
But
he
that's because
led.
they didn't have Robert Downey Jr.
Right.
And that's what I'm
Robert
saying. Like
Downey
Jr.
it was his Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal of Iron Man, and Jon Favreau's writing direction that made me like Iron Man and appreciate him, and because they put him in a different light for me.
Right. I remember going to see Iron Man in the theaters, and I went only because it was a comic book movie, and like because I had no feelings about Iron Man either way. You know,
Yeah.
I was a big X-Men guy, and I read some Hulk and some Thor, never really any Iron Man. But I walked into that theater and I came out like I was happy because I was like, oh my God. Yeah, that's what it was. I was like surprised and I was like, that was actually a pretty good film. And I don't know. I guess here we are 11 years later.
Wow.
And
my
we're about to
God.
cap it off.
God, like that's insane to me. You know, like that started the entire like Marvel boom.
The MCU,
you know,
yeah.
Yeah.
that really just like kicked off an entire You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like into the mainstream, that is.
I mean, I feel like it was already mainstream. It
Not to
took
the
it to a
level.
whole new level.
Well, it brought these non-star characters into the mainstream, like into the
Like Tony
pop
Stark.
culture consciousness.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
right.
Well,
I mean, even Black Panther was not.
Relegated to like the back.
Yeah, he was the B team.
Yeah.
B.
Avengers
C
was
team.
B team, man. Like Thor was B team. I mean, like.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
I
so.
mean, they weren't like.
like Avengers
they
was
weren't-
Avengers though.
Yeah,
'cause they had
Spider-Man.
Captain America.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
You know,
is still.
they
yeah.
weren't Spider-Man.
But I mean, like the Avengers West Coast guys
Right.
were a B team.
Yeah.
Which was led by Iron Man, and we
Right.
had Goliath, I think. Oh, well, they haven't put out Wonder Man yet. And,
Right.
Um,
Wonder Man.
Wait, there's a Wonder Man?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I just remember his
Gotta
costume was
brush
black
up.
and
he,
red.
he was
in
an
my eyes,
actor,
yeah.
and he was an actor in
Yeah.
LA.
Oh,
slash
wow.
superhero.
I love
Yeah.
it.
We should make
I'm
this.
surprised they haven't. Yeah, they should
There's
make
so
that.
many characters
I mean,
that you're like.
It
you're
might
like,
even work because they've
I
been pulling
know.
out these like B, C, D
you need
tier.
some Sunfire up in here. Some.
Sunfire.
I want to
think
see
if they
some
flesh-
Corsair stuff like Spelljammers.
Ooh.
I mean,
Yeah,
not
but
Spelljammers.
now that they have X-Men
Starjammers, yeah,
in the universe.
yeah, dude, Starjammers.
Is
man.
that an X-Men character?
Technically, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Can
I'm
they
re-
bring back the Juggernaut? That's all I want to see.
But not X3 Juggernaut, right?
No. But he was funny though.
Wait, so after this is all done, like after this latest movie, what comes next?
I know.
Well,
Are we still going to make MCU films or what?
yeah, of course.
They're still.
Yeah.
This is
They're
the
going to
Eternals.
renew the contracts, or they're
Right.
going to get
Oh
new
no, they're not
characters?
going to renew those guys.
They're not gonna do
contracts. They
Avengers
cost way
anymore.
too much.
Yeah.
Oh, because then they would demand even more money. Is
Probably,
that
yeah.
what it is?
So
Imagine how much money they
from
could
I just
demand
read
at this
today that Spider-Man: Far From Home is the end of Phase 3,
Oh, okay. So it's
okay.
gonna be
and then from there, and they're gonna announce it like once Avengers Endgame comes out. He's gonna announce the movies that's coming out, the like actual slate. Like they've been kind of quiet, like
right.
Eternals, and they haven't really announced the release date. But once that happens, once Avengers Endgame happens, they're gonna talk about the release dates of like Black Panther, and
Right.
who else is there.
You know what I'm excited for in that regard is like because we're going to see some like really like relatively obscure books and superheroes. There's going to be a lot of fans that are going to see some things that they've never seen before. Like, but they were like huge fans of like I liked really obscure heroes back in the day, like Black Hawk or like
Darkhawk, you mean?
Dark Hawk, yeah, sorry.
Black Hawk
Moon
Down.
Knight. Like the Midnight Suns.
I love Darkhawk.
Yeah.
I wasn't like Moon Knight. I just couldn't get into him.
I wasn't really into it, but like
It
I
was just
mean,
like Moon Knight was this other character who
Right.
he got his powers through
From
the
the
power.
moon?
There you go.
how
know
did you
this?
know?
I know.
So he was like,
Yeah.
and he was rich, and he,
Well,
he
I
was
want
like,
to
he
see a
was also
poor
crazy.
basically,
guy
he was
or
basically
woman.
Batman, but he got superpowers from the moon.
Also, he's crazy.
He's bipolar, right, or something?
Oh, is that because
Was he
lunatic and
bipolar?
madness? Is that
I
why?
thought.
That's why.
Yeah,
they
like I
exist
said,
in the
I
moon?
didn't really read him too much. I was like, not interesting.
It sounds interesting to me. I want to read about
I mean,
it.
yeah, look him up. Moon Knight.
Moon
is it?
Knight.
Psychotic or something.
Moon
Dark-
Are you
Knight.
sure it's not a
Dark Hawk
tuxedo
was-
mask?
Dark
Where he
Hawk was a
fights
cool
evil by
comic,
moonlight?
man.
Yeah.
I liked him. And yeah, he was a poor character. He was just
Right.
a regular college kid, if
Oh,
I remember correctly.
Dark Hawk.
Dark
Dark
Hawk.
Hawk.
Oh, okay.
And it was kind of, he was kind of like the Peter Parker, that kind of college student.
He had a
gained
cool mech suit.
superpowers
Yeah.
and yeah. So we're going on a tangent.
Yeah.
But going back to the Avengers, like, yeah, I mean, I think Chris, which Chris, Captain America has already said he's pretty much done or
Yeah,
retired.
Chris
So
Evans.
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans
Yeah.
has, whether he dies or he just disappears or he retires,
Right.
could be anything. I think everyone's guessing that he's gonna die, but
Right. That's my guess.
Vision.
I think they're all going to die
A lot
because
of
their
them.
contracts are not going to be renewed.
Oh my
So the
God.
only way to purposefully close this off is to kill all of them.
She says,
Tell
before
me
we
I'm-
talk about Game of Thrones.
Tell me I'm wrong, though. Tell me I'm
I
wrong.
mean, I think Robert Downey will just be like on contract. He'll show up every
like
so
whenever
often.
he wants, just pop
He'll
in.
be the new Stan Lee. Oh my God.
like
Just the
cameos
Iron
and
Man.
You
everything.
know what?
Yeah.
That might
Yo,
be
he might be.
Stan Lee's
possible.
gone,
He'll be the Stan
so-
Lee. Yeah, he'll
Yeah.
do cameos. I was just gonna say, like, I would lose my shit if
Yeah.
somehow within, whether it's Endgame or Far From Home,
Right.
you know, any like Fantastic Four is introduced somehow, or an X-Men is introduced somehow.
It'd be crazy.
Wait, why wasn't Fantastic Four already
Because
introduced?
Fox
Because they were
owned
Fox.
it.
Okay,
Fox
gotcha.
as well.
Okay.
But I mean, well, I guess
Dude, because they already introduced the Kree or the Kree and the Skrull.
Skrull, right?
You know, and
Kree
then
versus
now,
Skrull
now that-
War.
yeah, dude.
Starjammers, dang it, war.
And now that they have the X-Men too, that the Shi'ar Empire can
Right.
be involved in the
And
future.
Mysterio is like in Far From Home.
Yeah. So because there's supposed to be a surprise at the end of Far From Home that might, because it's the end of Phase 3.
Corsair,
it
I'm
might,
calling it. I'm just
It
kidding.
might connect it to Phase 4, whatever their surprise is. Because there's the big villain. Like there's another
Right. Oh, there's got to be another
after
big bad.
after Infinity War, Thanos. There's gonna be another looming villain. That's
Isn't
gonna,
there always?
for the
Right.
next for the second 10 years?
Captain
You
America.
guys should
so for the 20th year,
Who do you think it's
Yeah.
going to be?
plot twist. It's Captain Marvel.
Mephisto.
it's either Galactus
It could be Galactus, you're right?
or it could
The
even
Magus.
be no, it could be the Secret War, like
Yeah, I think it's gonna be
High
Secret War.
Evolutionary.
I think
You
it's
guys
gonna be
should
Secret War,
Secret
as in
Wars.
no, the Skrulls taking
Oh,
over
right,
people.
right.
And it's just gonna be a gigantic Civil War
Right.
episode.
You guys should make predictions about like this upcoming MCU. You know,
yeah,
since
so-
you guys are so well versed in these
yeah.
tertiary
Sorry, we're
comic
totally
book
like,
characters that I've never even
totally
heard of.
Excited
Yeah, I haven't
about
heard of them.
stupid stuff, I swear. Sometimes.
Stuff no one cares about yet.
Yeah.
This is what's going to be big soon in Hollywood.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
because contracts going up.
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight and Dark Hawk, not Black Hawk.
Yeah, no,
Dark
Black
Hawk.
Hawk
These
is
sound
an
like
image
romance.
character.
Yeah,
Like
they do. They sound
romance
like
novels.
gothic romance novels.
Moon
Like
Knight.
Cloak
He
and Dagger.
snatched
Well,
me
Cloak and Dagger's
Yeah,
the middle
Cloak
of
and
the
Dagger is a
night.
pretty
Hawk.
interesting story right now too.
Have you watched it?
I've watched a couple
no way.
episodes.
Anyway, we could talk about MCU forever. I guess this
But
time
I'm
next
really
week.
looking forward to it. I'm gonna watch it. I don't know.
Let's all see it.
I think we
Yeah.
were planning.
Oh,
to
wait, you
watch
guys
it.
are already
I'm
seeing it.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
watch it with Romel's group and his gang. With
Right.
So, and you guys were planning to watch it, right?
I don't
I'm wa-
know. Whenever
yeah.
you're going to watch it.
I'm watching it with
I'm going to
some
have to
East
find
West
people
players,
to watch it with.
Why don't you? Oh,
It's-
you
it's
can't
the
'cause
class.
You have
Oh, I
something
see.
going.
Yeah.
Might do that Tuesday then.
Earl,
Yeah.
let's
Tuesday.
go, bro.
Okay.
All right. Guess they're best
There you
friends
We
go.
don't
now.
need you
All right.
guys. We need y'all.
So this
Yeah.
time next week we'll have, I guess, our breakdown of
The Avengers
Endgame.
Endgame.
But in the meantime, we do have Game of Thrones talk. Yeah, look at that.
Oh my God, it's Daniel
Khaleesi.
the Thrones. She looks so
Khaleesi.
good.
That's a really good
Or,
picture.
I'm sorry.
Damn, I used to love this
Wow,
character.
she looks
Look at those
amazing.
gloves.
Khaleesi.
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 You guys know about
Khaleesi.
Khaleesi's the real pronunciation, right?
Khaleesi, is it?
Yeah, that's
So-
why we're saying Khaleesi.
Oh, okay.
Khaleesi.
No, I don't know if you know. Do you know about it, Walter?
Khaleesi.
You're the
for
one that
viewers,
told us about it.
Oh, okay, never mind.
So you can say it again.
Apparently,
Yeah.
the guy who I forget his name now, but the guy who actually constructed the Dothraki
The
language,
conlang.
he messed up, and he said Khaleesi's actually supposed to be pronounced Khaleesi. But he didn't he forgot or something. He didn't call them out on it, and then they just kept going,
Yeah.
and then it became like a cultural phenomenon. And he didn't have the heart. He's just like, oh, whatever. We'll just call it Khaleesi. Yeah, but it's supposed to be Khaleesi.
Khaleesi.
Yeah,
Wouldn't that
didn't-
make him like Hal Drogo then?
it is. When you look, they say Khal Drogo.
Khal
Yeah.
Drogo.
It's the part that's wrong is the EC. It should be AC.
AC.
Khaleesi. Yeah,
Khaleesi.
Khaleesi.
He just didn't want to stop
Khaleesi.
the multi-million-dollar production.
He did not.
know?
It's just
Yeah.
yeah.
Khaleesi.
So it's Khaleesi.
He's all,
Yeah.
he's all stop.
Stop
Amelia, you're doing it wrong.
No.
We should be
Yeah.
those jerks that just say Khaleesi and
Reshoots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say let's reshoot it. Let's
Yeah.
let's
I
just
know.
get those
Whole
B-roll.
series over.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And let's not forget Amelia Clark's new pronunciation of Dracarys.
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 Dracaring is caring and sharing.
Did you know she did it again too? Like in the
Dracarys?
other episode, she said Dracarys. She stopped using the accent. I don't know what happened, and I don't know how they never stopped her.
Right.
Like
She spent too much time in Westeros. That's why
Yeah.
she's like
Yeah.
Anglicanized her.
She's
I guess
changed, man.
so.
She's changed.
she's only
She's not the
I
same.
get
I came to see her
Dracarys.
from Marine, and she's changed.
So the night of the seven kingdoms.
Yeah.
Episode 2.
Episode 2.
Yeah.
Initial reactions. What did everybody think?
Yes.
I mean,
Sorry. Go
okay,
ahead.
so
No.
generally speaking, this entire episode was about all of our characters, last remaining characters, gearing up for a big fortress battle, right? Which is going to take
quintessential battle. Yeah.
take place
Deep,
at
yeah.
Winterfell.
Yeah.
Fall
And
back.
there's a very palpable sense of we might die tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
some of the people that we know in this room that we've known for years under different circumstances are going to die. And like a very unlikely group has formed, which in season 1 would have been completely implausible.
Right,
You
right,
know,
right.
so like a lot of people have come to
The Lord of
Winterfell.
Light has a plan for all of us.
Right.
Indeed.
From multiple houses, and now they have all convened to die together in the
Right.
name of humanity,
The living.
the living.
And the dead.
I fight for the living. How many times have we heard that
I
so far?
fought for the living. You're saying it wrong, man.
Probably
That's the
about
nod we can get.
about as many times as you heard that the crypt is a safe place to be.
The crypt is a
Nice
safe
talk.
place to be, you
crypt
guys.
Is the
Because
safest place
You
to
should
be.
go there
course.
because the crypt is the safest place to be.
Say it again. What's the
Where's
safest place
the
to
safest
be?
place?
The crypt.
The crypt.
Wait, hold on.
because
This is sound dumb.
the
Do they really
crypt-
say that a lot in the
The
show?
crypt is the
they
safest
did.
place
They said
to
that
be.
all in
They said about
episode
3
2.
times. Yeah.
I think
okay,
more
they-
than
They said it to
three.
Sam Tarley, like, "Oh, you should be in the crypt with."
Oh,
Gilly."
okay. I do remember.
She
Okay.
said it to the little
so now
girl,
it's
Jerry.
foreshadowing. It is
But
not
you
going to be
know,
a safe
that-
place
I
to
mean,
be.
that's
Yeah.
going to be the
Shireen.
stupidest
The
place to
Shireen one.
hide.
Yeah.
Wait, why do you
Clone.
say it's going to be the stupidest place to hide?
Because when the White Walker King comes and raises the dead,
He's
who
a
do you
necro-
think is
he's a
going to raise
necromancer.
up?
But Jen, not all of us are as smart as you and don't see that freaking happening. Okay.
The crypt is full of dead Stark bodies
What-
for generations.
Well, never mind the
And-
stuff that we saw in the trailer with Arya and her blood running
And
down from her
mind
forehead.
you, Bran chose not to go there when they said.
I love
"No,
her.
no,
It was
no."
just like,
Bran was
Bran,
like-
you go.
He's like, no,
got to-
I'll be bait, bro.
Over by the weirwood. Stand over
Everybody's
there.
like protected, and then Bran's by the weirwood tree. You know?
Yeah, they're like,
With 20 iron
like,
boards.
you
I'm gonna fall.
Bran probably knows that's the safest place to be for some reason. He's like,
Yeah.
no. Yeah, I'll risk myself.
I know, and still no one questions.
Oh my
who
God.
the hell are you, Bran? Where are you getting these
Where
visions?
are you getting all this stuff?
You're a man now.
Yeah.
Well,
Almost.
that's the weird thing about about Bran, right? You know he technically has access to all the knowledge of the past.
Is
and,
that
like,
to say he knows what's going to happen?
I don't think he has. He probably has limited.
Not the future.
Yeah.
He doesn't know where to go, right? They talked
Right.
about his powers before. He doesn't know where to go to view which part of
Right.
history, but if he's led in a certain direction,
He
he'll
can
look
view it
there.
Okay,
So
Right.
you
gotcha.
technically he could lead into like what's gonna happen tomorrow.
But
But
still,
he-
that's
no,
the
no, but he
future.
can't- that's
Yeah,
the future.
he
He can only
can't.
see
He
what's
goes to
in
the
the human
past.
past.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
and
He's
he
the
can't-
three-eyed raven.
And then the Night King blocks him from seeing things that from Night King's view too. So
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So what is the three-eyed raven? When we were watching this at your friend Gilly's house the other night, somebody suggested it was some deep ass shit. It was like is a three-eyed raven supposed to be like a construct of the human consciousness or something like that?
I was the one
Was
that
it
said
you?
that.
Yeah, okay,
It was not
so-
a construct of human consciousness, but more of the collective unconscious of humanity, right?
It's
a
the
collective
it's the
memory.
like a
the
library, like the
librarian.
data that we've all
Yeah.
accumulated.
Well,
Or
and
like-
the Three-Eyed Raven is the librarian that can go through, sort through all of it.
Yeah.
Makes
Right.
sense because the Maesters use the ravens to
Like the
to send
ultimate
out information.
green
This
seer.
one has a third eye,
Yeah.
Right.
so
Yeah.
it's kind of like an
Right.
all-seeing entity.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
gotcha.
like more omniscient.
I
Yeah.
love it.
And it's from
I love it.
believe Norse mythology has the Three-Eyed Raven.
Does
Right.
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
The
okay.
Odin's ravens.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
Fucking see-
Forethought and afterthought.
Yes.
Yeah, they had 3 eyes.
I like that.
Yeah.
Good one, George.
Bran really should work with Sam. I mean, like Sam in the table plotting room, right? Like when we were all
Yeah,
devising
in
the plan.
Winterfell. Yeah.
He was the only one that seemed to have some kind of inkling as to what Bran was, while everybody else
Right.
was like,
Yeah.
"This poor kid seems
he-
like
But
he
like
has
no one's even
PTSD."
questioning it. That's why it's kind of hard to believe.
Well, because there's like he's
just like
weird.
muttering with his visions. Yeah.
Yeah, I think at some point, like Sam is probably like vouching from him. At
Right.
some
I think
time,
so.
right?
Well,
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
Tyrion is the only one maybe of a few who decided to actually have a conversation with him.
Right.
Does he have a conversation with him?
Yeah, remember there's
Well,
a part.
tell me your story,
Yeah,
he says, and then they cut away from it.
Well, yeah, because
Oh, so we didn't
Tyrion
actually
was
see it.
like,
Yeah.
he's like, I forgot. He's like, do you have the time? I was like,
Wait, so do you think that'll mean something?
oh,
He'll
might
have
told them
disclosed
some-
something.
He
Yeah.
might have told them some stories,
And we'll
that'll
find out
come
maybe in the next
later.
episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tyrion
Yeah.
was like, yeah, it's not as if we're stuck in we're locked.
Oh,
There's nowhere
yes.
to
Okay,
go.
I need to
Yeah.
watch this
Nowhere to go,
episode
yeah.
again. A lot of stuff happened.
So, well, before we go any further, did anybody have a favorite moment?
I
Well,
Why
I'm
don't you
gonna
go
start-
first,
yeah,
Walter? Please, Walter.
Nah.
Go
I,
first.
you know, which one are you thinking about?
I
Walter?
wonder. I wonder.
When Tormund hugged Jon Snow when he came back.
That was hilarious.
Oh, I loved that part.
So
hilarious.
cute.
That part
What-
was
what were you guys thinking? I was gonna
so
say, huh?
good.
So cute.
I
so
mean,
cute.
you were.
That was just funny. He saw his night slides. He was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Boom! Out of
Yeah,
nowhere, dude.
he's like a golden retriever just going for his
He's
master.
so good.
He's
I love
such a great
Tormund,
actor.
man.
He's
Is the
so
big woman
good.
here?
that giant teeth story. Yeah.
Oh my
I
god.
milked such a teeth for
3
3 months. She thought I was her pup.
And then he pulled up the Joey Tribbiani.
And everyone's quiet. Yeah.
I want to know if that was like rehearsed
Oh my
or that was
God.
just like
That would be
improv
so
right there.
good.
He's like
Oh
the
my
actor's
God.
just like trying to drink it, but it won't really hold.
Yeah,
So
he's like,
fuck it, I'm gonna
got
go
milk.
with
Yeah.
all
Let's
of it.
go for it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's-
Just the look
And
on
then the-
everyone's
yeah, the look
faces.
on
Like
everyone's
Tyrion was, his eyes were like bugging out.
Brienne was like,
And then Sir Davos, well, I think I'm going to have that drink.
Oh man,
yeah.
yeah. There was some good moments
There was
in the
a-
show.
yeah, a lot of good moments.
So I did like that moment.
Yeah.
I liked the low key moments. You know, the stuff that you're not supposed to go crazy about. I
Right.
loved the reunion between Sansa and Theon.
I like that a lot too.
I might be shipping Thansa or Sion. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, they're
like
the only ones who
Thansa.
really understand each other.
Right.
In the
Oh.
sense that they were both tortured by the same psychopath, right?
For a long
And
ass time.
yeah,
Too.
although
So-
I knew some people who was like not about
Not
that.
about it.
Really?
I mean,
Why?
it's not over the top.
Yeah.
There's
They're like
They're just having-
the group I was with. A few of them were like,
Really?
they better not
Why?
force
though?
them
oh
together.
no, that's what I love. It's not
It
forced.
doesn't feel forced
That,
to
for
me,
me,
yeah.
that was the most emotional reunion I've seen yet. Like out of season 7 and 8, I liked it
Because
because
he
it was
saved her?
understated. Yeah, he saved her. He came back to fight for the Starks,
Right.
and she sees him not
Came
knowing.
back to fight for Lady Sansa.
Yeah, for the Lady of Winterfell. I mean, it was a beautiful moment. I loved that. And I also liked the moment where Dolores, Ed, and Sam and John are at the top of Winterfell. They're
talking
like
shit to
outside
each
like a
other.
parapet. Yeah.
I
And
know.
it feels like they're back at Castle
The
Black.
Night's
Yeah.
Watch.
It feels like they're on the
That's
Night's
what they
the
said, and now our watch begins.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, it's like a
Yeah.
Dollar said.
Night's Watch.
I really,
Yeah.
and I
miss
I-
Gren.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I put
On
this
Pip.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put this on my Facebook that I was like, I feel like this is probably one of the, if not the best episode in all of Game of
I
Thrones.
did see that. I must disagree, but
I mean,
please.
to you,
Yeah,
but
must
I
disagree.
loved it. Just aside from the fact that all of them were there and like all the heroes and champions were, but that to me the dialogue was so great and it was hilarious. But it had its like moment. It was like up and down, you
Right.
know? And it could be just the nostalgia part.
I think a lot of it was, but I don't think
Yeah.
that's necessarily bad.
But yeah, and I think just the banter between them, you know, and I like I said, how much is improvised and how much is like scripted and like
Right, right.
And
And,
it was
then
just all
not
these
to
wonderful-
mention the knighting part.
yeah.
I was
like,
gonna
Oh,
say
I was
that's
gonna
my
say
was
that-
my
that's
your
favorite
favorite
part.
part?
I do wish that it had started off a little better because
Yeah.
to me it kind of seemed like you know when you're drunk with your friends, you're like,
Right.
oh, I can touch my belly button and do a headstand. That's kind of how it felt like.
Well, I
Because
think
Jamie was
that's
like,
the
did
point.
you know
Yeah.
that I can knight you?
I
It
think
just
I think that's the point though. Like
I
you,
love that it
you
was
said
like that.
something like, was it
Yeah.
you again? Someone, or I
Who,
think it was
me?
Adrian, it was your roommate.
Uh-huh.
Someone at the party that we were at, someone
Right.
suggested, I think it would have been more powerful if maybe like Tyrion or Sam or someone.
Oh yeah, I think he was
had-
the one that said that because
Yeah.
like somebody with the breadth of knowledge that would know that a knight doesn't have to be granted
Yeah.
by a lord or lady.
I'm
it can be by
nitpicking.
a
I'm totally
but
nitpicking
none
right
of them
now,
are
yeah.
knights either. Like the only
Only
real
knight.
knight there was Jamie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then they could say, like, technically, Sir Jamie, you could knight Brienne. And then it would be like, oh yeah, I could do that. And then it really seems like this is a choice that I can have, and I'm gonna do it.
No, I don't know. I disagree.
know. I
don't
didn't
disagree
really
with
like how
that.
it started.
I
like that-
disagree too.
I disagree. I like the fact that it's Jamie who is like, if that's what you've wanted, like this whole time, I have something that
Yeah.
you've always wanted, that you secretly want. Like,
How did it get brought up again? Like, what were they talking about?
It
How
was
did-
Tormund, right?
Yeah,
or
no,
like,
it
and
was
the
it was
other
Tyrion because he actually
Tyrion.
called her.
right.
Yeah.
He said,
Oh,
Sir.
sir? And she's
Sir.
like, I'm not a
And-
sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
okay.
Lady Brienne.
And so they were all kind of
then that's where
confused.
that
And then
conversation
Tormund was
went,
like,
yeah.
wait,
Wait.
hold on. Like,
You're not a
women
knight?
can't be
Yeah.
knights?
Why can't you be a
yeah,
knight?
that's right. Because there's like still
why?
And then
egalitarian.
they had to
Yeah.
explain to him why, these rules that Westeros has.
Yeah,
against women.
like a lady can't be a
Yeah.
knight, and that's kind of her
And
arc
he's like, "That's
also
stupid."
for
Right,
Brienne.
it's
From the
absolutely her
beginning,
arc,
it's always
right.
been like, "Oh, so you're a knight, right?" She's like,
been
"I'm
meaning
not
to
a knight,"
prove herself. Yeah.
and she wanted to be Renly's knight,
Right.
and he was gonna knight her,
Yeah.
and then he
He was-
dies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She
that's
was
right.
his Kingsguard.
Yeah, that's
Ooh.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Aw.
yeah, and to me that was like I was joking around, but I'm half serious. Like that to me that was like Jaime and Brienne's like sex moment.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The sword
Yeah.
was out.
It was
Yeah.
a consummation.
It was a
Yeah,
consummation.
they basically they made love at that very moment.
And
right there.
God bless Gwendolyn Christie, the actress.
Oh,
like
she's
the
so
tears in
great.
her eyes.
cried.
I was like,
When she smiled, I was like, oh.
yeah, and then you realize
Yeah.
there's tears, and then
I
they
know,
slowly
it's
well up in her
so
eyes
good.
too, and then
Yeah.
you realize there's
Yeah.
tears in her eyes.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
She's
so
amazing.
Her
good.
character
Yeah.
is so great. I mean,
so
like,
great.
she
So
was like
great.
tormented for not being like gender conforming
Yeah.
or for not
This
being
ugly
like
tall beast.
But
you know.
people say to her face,
yeah,
it's just the worst
and she just
thing.
takes it. Yeah,
Yeah, but she's like so talented in so many ways, you know.
So
and, like,
good.
But, I mean, now
She
got her.
deserves
She's
it.
got her man, and like,
they're gonna go into
He's
battle together. Oh
there.
man, what if she dies?
and then when he said like, I came here to
Oh.
serve you, to serve under you, you know.
Yeah.
dude, if Brienne dies, I'm gonna cry.
I
Like,
was
it's gonna be
listening to
awful.
the Bald Move breakdown of this episode, and they were saying like they were talking about Brienne, and they were saying like in the previews she's shown like at the front line of like a regiment, and we're
She's
just
like the Vanguard or something.
yeah, and
Oh
we're like,
man.
that doesn't bode well, you know.
She says she's leaving the left,
But she
or
does
something,
have
right? To
Valerian
Jaime?
steel.
She does.
She
Yeah.
does. She does.
I wonder if you can't.
All of them
I was
are
like,
armed
if you
with
had
Valerian
Valerian
now.
steel armor.
No, they're all. Most people are
Right.
armed
Could
with
they
dragon
touch you?
glass.
I know. Yeah, could they touch you? That would
Where'd
be
they get
that's
the
a good
dragon
thing.
glass?
Just have dragon glass armor.
From Dragonstone.
From Dragonstone. They had this
There was a
entire thing in
mountain
season
of-
7.
I know, but it was all a blur in my head. So they
There's a-
mined it from underneath Dragonstone.
That was
it
the
was like
whole
a
point of
giant-
John
'cause
going
remember
down to
John-
Oh, and then getting the
Yeah.
Dragonstone.
Yeah.
Dragonstone
Got it.
is
Okay,
like
I was
an
like,
entire
I was like, how
mountain
they get so
of
much
dragon
Dragonstone?
glass.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
He specifically went down
That-
there
to get the
find it.
Dragonstone, right?
We have to mine it.
Quiet.
Dear Jesus.
It all blended in my head. Okay, I
That was
don't
the
remember.
whole point of season 7.
Yeah, I know.
So, my favorite moment, I was gonna say the Brienne moment as well, but well, first of all, Ghost is back. Thank
Yeah,
God.
I know. And it wasn't even a big thing. He was just
He
on
was
the
just
side.
chilling.
I was just chilling
like,
on the side. Yeah.
But the moment between Ser Jorah and Sam, like where he gives
Oh, yeah.
Ser Jorah his sword, his
Yeah.
ancestral sword.
Oh,
He's like,
yeah.
it's Valerian steel.
He has like your father taught me how to whatever the line was exactly. I can't
Yeah.
remember.
Something
To be a
with
man.
honor.
To be a
Yeah,
man.
to be a man.
with
Yeah,
honor.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's only right. This is only right. That I
Oh,
do this. And I
Sam
was
is
like,
such a good person.
And then he gets chewed out by Lyanna, his cousin, his little cousin.
I wish you
Like,
well,
no.
cousin.
I
So
know.
cold too.
At least she's not in
I
the
don't even-
crypt.
Yeah,
That's all I
yeah.
gotta
She's
say.
not in the crypt.
She has
Lyanna has like a little armor thingy. Did you notice?
I know,
Yeah,
she's
right.
so cute.
They fit her with little cute little breastplate, and it's just for her size.
I know.
Who made her that? I want to know
Gendry
who made
made
her
it.
that. Yeah.
Gendry did.
No, she's always had armor.
And
We've
she always
seen her
had,
wear
Not
armor.
battle armor.
Not
though.
battle armor.
What
We
is
see
it?
her like in Battle of the Bastards. She's like on the
She-
sidelines
yeah.
on a horse.
What
We
was
don't
she
see her
wearing?
fighting. She's
Now she
wearing
has, like,
battle
metal
armor,
gear.
like
like a breastplate.
Oh.
Yes,
We gotta look
it's
it
so
I'm gonna watch it
cute. I was like, so you're really gonna fight? You're
Right,
gonna let
right.
this little girl die in a battle?
She said she wanted
I guess
to.
She ain't
they
no
Yeah.
bitch.
I
Because
guess
Tyrion
clearly
has
not.
like a
yeah.
full breastplate as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, she's so cute.
Yeah.
Oh my
absolutely.
goodness.
Oh
I-
my gosh.
I will never get tired of her just like telling people off.
Yeah.
She's so great.
She's great.
Actually, they asked her in an interview, like, what are you going to miss most about Game of Thrones? And she
Right.
said something to the extent of, I'm just going to miss telling a whole room full of men who are older than me what to do. That's why.
She's so
Right.
great.
Yeah.
She's
That's great.
great.
She's
Can I also
incredible.
say, this is so effing random, but
Oh, yeah.
Ser Jorah was looking good in this episode.
Wait,
He
wait.
looking
got
good.
cleaned
All right,
up.
calm the
Like-
thirst.
I don't know. They cleaned him up.
Right.
He's wearing like nice spiffy clothing.
Right.
Ser Jorah, I'm not
Yeah.
afraid to say, is a hot old man, and
Wait.
I have always felt this
So
way.
like hotter than Aragorn.
huh?
Oh, that's
don't
a
do
hard
this to
choice.
me.
It's a hard
Older
choice.
than Aragorn. How's
Yeah,
that?
definitely
He's
older
They're probably
than
the same
Aragorn.
age now.
Right.
Yeah.
right.
But
Right.
yeah, I was like, I won't put you in the friend zone, Sir Jorah.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
When he wore that scarf though, when they were back at like, oh, so good. Yeah.
With the first scarf?
Yeah.
You're looking good. I don't know if he like put him on a diet plan or working out.
The light blue scarf
It
really
suits
just
him.
brought out his
Yeah,
eyes.
his
and it was like,
cheekbones. I was like,
oh my.
Sir Jorah.
He had
my.
a nice bit of advice to give to Danny this week.
Yeah.
This is
Yes,
He
he was being
came-
honorable. You know,
Yeah,
he was.
super.
He came through for them.
Yeah.
'Cause
Well, yeah.
He
sorry.
could have totally like.
He could have been
shut down.
jealous and been like, no,
absolutely
it should've
shut
been
down
me.
Tyrion
Yeah.
because he's kind of in a low place right now.
And that's
But-
why I liked Sir Jorah because
Yeah, yeah.
like he's not playing dirty.
She
you
actually
know?
he
listens to
knew
him
all.
too, you know. Like for everybody else, like
Yeah.
she's a stranger in a strange land right now for
Well,
Danny, you know. And so like the only real person who's been with her since the
Yeah,
beginning
is
is
Sir
Jorah.
Jorah.
Started
So
from
she's
the
gonna
bottom.
listen to
Everyone
him
else is- yeah.
more than anyone else, you know.
Yeah.
She can
Yeah.
hardly really trust all the Northerners, like hardly really trust.
they don't
anybody
trust her.
else.
No, absolutely not.
As
You
was
know.
shown by that awkward Sansa and Daenerys scene. Can we talk
Oh,
about
God,
that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was like Anna and Elsa, like, like you know those like spoiler. It's like an episode breakdown with spoilers without actually saying what the
With
spoilers
no
are.
context.
Right.
One of them was like Anna and Elsa like talking.
yeah. That's totally right. I never even because it's totally redhead and
and
blonde.
blonde.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
I saw this meme online where it's the it's a screen cap from Thor Ragnarok when Thor is talking to Bruce Banner, where he's like, "Oh, I won the fight," and Thor goes, "No," and it showed the smile from Daenerys.
And Sansa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it said same energy, and I was like, yeah, that is the same.
Yeah, it's like
No, you didn't.
she like takes her hand away, and they
Yeah.
never like something happens, they get interrupted, so they never
Right.
really get to.
Well,
Right.
she says like, but what about the North? Like
Right.
once you
Yeah.
That's
have
the-
the
that's the
Seven
big question.
Kingdoms,
I actually always did wonder that.
Everything
Like,
is
so are
done.
they gonna be their own independent country now? What's
We
the
want to
deal?
be
Like
like
Scotland!
Scotland.
unicorns.
They may take our lives, but they
We'll never take
our
our freedom.
Wallace. Wallace. James Cosmo's Sir Gior too. So yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they brought up a good point of where, like, why did Danny not have a prepared answer?
She didn't have a
for
plan for
Right.
that. Yeah,
Right.
like you should have known, man.
I feel like that was the
yeah.
question that the first question I would have addressed if I was like going in to talk to Sansa. right?
Yeah, I mean, at least she
Right.
could have been like, when Sansa asked that, maybe she'd been like, what happens in the North? Danny could have been like, what?
What?
Oh, sorry, someone's calling.
Yeah. Like as if she didn't know that was going to
Battlefields are
happen.
happening. The dragons are here.
Did you say Noth? Missandei is from Noth.
Oh man.
Yeah, that, and I mean, there's so many great, and that, again, this is why I love that episode. Even right from the beginning, the trial of Jaime Lannister.
I feel like he got off the hook on that one.
He got off
George
easy.
Martin,
He got super
George R.
hot.
Martin would never have let that happen. He would be like, "There's gonna be some consequences to this."
No,
And
but
there
you
might be
need him
still.
For, yeah,
There
but
might be
you
still,
need him
but-
for the fight.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
John, I agree with John where he's like, we need every man. For
And
the
John has
fight.
always been solid on that. It's
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
need
well,
every
we'll
man
take
we
care of
can
you.
get.
And Sansa
Yeah.
again.
we'll need
she's
every
like,
man we can
Fuckers
get.
need a fight.
yeah. Brienne vouched for him, and Sansa,
And then Sansa,
trusts him and
yeah.
believes him.
Actually, I could see that. The point is just showing that Brienne.
Yeah.
Brienne stands up for him. Sansa trusts Brienne. Okay, all right. I can see that.
And
Yeah.
if anything,
can see that.
Sansa, it could be like a passive aggressive like side insult to Daenerys.
To Daenerys, yeah.
Right.
Like
For
we run the
backing-
show, not you.
We
Yeah.
run this
Yeah.
mother.
So it's 2 against 3.
Maybe
Bye.
I just wanted a trial by combat. Okay, like I just wanted to.
There's
see
really
some-
no time for a trial.
No,
by
there
combat.
really
there's no
isn't.
reason
That
to,
would have
like,
been in the last
Right.
season.
No
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, no reason to have another good swordsman with
Yeah, to
Valerian
lose.
steel
Yeah.
to lose in the eve of
And
battle.
a fucking
Right.
metal
Right.
hand, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Could
White
have
Walker
given him,
Jamie
could have
would be
given him a
terrible.
Valerian, or actually,
A Valerian hand.
no, dragon glass hand.
Dragon
You can have a
glass.
dragon.
Fingers.
Why did
Yeah,
did they
Big
give
old-
Gendry be like
Yeah,
Gendry, build him a dragon glass hand?
I'm gonna be like
Oh my
that,
hand.
that
My
He-Man
dragon glass
character
up your
Fisto.
ass.
You remember him?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude,
Why don't you buy yourself a dragon glass hand and fuck yourself with it? Remember from season 3?
Oh yeah.
Why don't you buy yourself a gold hand and fuck yourself with it? One of the best lines in the whole show. That and any man dies with a clean sword, I'll rape his fucking corpse.
I'm gonna miss the Hound so much.
Oh my god.
Oh, speaking of the Hound,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
can we talk about fan theories?
What is the fan? Wait,
Oh,
hold on.
Jen, please.
What?
Do you not? Oh, okay. So
Tell
the
me.
fan theory, some
Right.
fan theories, crazy, I know, is that when Arya, the reason she's walking up on
Right.
the parapet in the middle of the night, and she sees the Hound, and they get to talking. The theory is that she wanted to bang the Hound,
Oh.
and fucking Beric Dondarrion cock blocked her.
Oh my god.
And she was like, well,
I
this
don't
is
know about-
awkward. And so she was like, deuces. And then she got it on with Gendry, as
That
we
would
all know.
fucking hella weird.
Yo!
No.
I mean, she's an adult,
Yeah, I
apparently,
know.
right?
No, but that
I
has like no
know.
narrative.
I mean,
could
there were
see-
people shipping the Hound and Arya.
Yeah,
People
there's
ship
that.
Sansa and the Hound, you know? So,
They will,
Unlikely.
they will do it. Like, yeah.
It's where
Unlikely.
at the Battle of Blackwater where he rescues her and then
you're talking about Sansa, right?
Sansa, yeah.
Yeah, because also this was a deleted scene, and it happens in the books. He kisses Sansa.
Oh really?
Oh yeah, he kisses her, and then Tyrion walks in,
You're
and
safe,
he's like,
little
"Is
bird."
everything okay here?"
Yeah.
And then the Hound walks away, and then he tells Arya like, "I should have had sex with your sister that night I left King's Landing," or actually he
Damn.
says, "I should have raped her." Yeah, so yeah, it was kind of weird, but
No, I remember that line.
yeah. So Arya and the Hound, no,
Nah,
no,
I don't think so.
Not
I think she
possible.
was just
Not at
there to
all.
like have closure on for leaving him.
I
for
think
dead.
So
well, she kind of looked like she just wanted to be alone, and then she runs into him and then talks to him, and
Like,
then,
oh, you're here.
like yeah.
Right.
At least they had that moment, which I'm glad for, because in
Right.
their other reunion, that was so awkward and
It
like,
was really awkward.
it wasn't
I
well
felt
done.
uneasy.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
one was a
Yeah.
good reunion.
And
I
then,
feel.
I mean, yeah, and then when she was like, I'm not gonna spend my last night with you.
you
two.
fucks, yeah.
And
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
the
yeah.
Hound like shutting down Beric's like proselytizing. That was
Yeah.
hilarious.
Oh, what does he say again? I don't remember.
He's something about Thoros of Myr, and
Oh, he's not here.
yeah,
To
Oh, he's
bring
not
back
to bring
yeah.
it. Oh, he's like, you died 19 fucking
times.
times.
Yeah, the Lord of Light is going to wonder why he brought you back 17 times for me to toss you over this fucking.
Ah, I remember that. That was
So
a good line.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the chat, we have SJPABR. I don't know how to pronounce that. SJPABR.
Try.
Hey, what's up? Hello, what GOT character do you relate to the most and why? And
Good question.
Okay. I mean, I've always related to Dany. I relate to her less now that she's becoming Ice Queen
why? Right.
incarnate.
No, I can
Right.
still see it.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Damn!
Walter knows too much. He knows too much. But I have the same kind of like fiery, vindictive kind of streak to me. But at the same time,
Right.
I'm like very much like go
Champion
righteous,
for the people.
champion for Joan of Arc.
Yeah.
Caitlyn knows about this. When people get on my wrong side, I swing the fucking righteous sword. So
I remember years ago when
Right.
Game of Thrones was like still coming out, I took a character test to find out who I was, and I was pissed. I was like,
Tyrion.
"Ew, it says I'm Sansa." I'm like, I don't like Sansa.
Well,
she's
that's fair. Back
she's
then.
such a weak character, and I was like,
Right.
no, but I am though. Like, I am totally Sansa. But now I think maybe I'm not nearly as cool as she was, but I think I'm more of a Marjorie. Honestly,
Tyrell?
Yes,
Okay.
I
I
can
definitely
see you
I'm
as
a
a
Tyrell
Tyrell.
for sure.
Right.
Marjorie was always an ambitious character.
Right.
I think it's up for debate as to whether or not she actually felt anything for the poor,
Yeah.
and like whether or not she was truly a humanitarian. But she's known for her tact and her diplomacy, but she's also highly ambitious, and she
Right.
also has ulterior motives, which I don't think I have.
So
But if I lived in Game of
What is your
Thrones, I
ulterior
would.
motive?
Yeah. So I would say probably Marjorie, maybe. But now I think about it, I am kind of a Sansa. Like Sansa was kind of like, I don't know. She wanted to marry a knight, and she liked flowers and ladies and maidens and poetry and all that. And I like that stuff too. And then life takes one big fucking shit on Sansa's face,
Right.
and then she's like, "Fuck everyone,
And
I'm
she's
gonna do
not
this."
coprophilic.
Yeah, and I feel like that's
Yeah.
me. Darth Sansa. Yeah, so maybe I am a blend of those.
Phoenix.
Dark.
Yeah, a blend of those two.
When she comes
Yeah.
at the end of in The Mountain and the Viper, that episode, when she comes out of the area and she's made
The eerie-
that new,
oh yeah, she's
that
like,
black-
and her hair is
Baelish.
dark, and her hair is
Yeah,
black.
hers-
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah,
you're like
that's me
that.
now.
That's
Yeah,
dark.
yeah.
Nice.
Young Caitlyn was like young Sansa. Older
Nice.
Caitlyn's like older Sansa.
Got
Yeah.
it.
Gotcha.
Makes sense.
Oh, you want me or you?
I'm still thinking. I don't know. I honestly think like if there was a mix between Jon and Sam, if they became one person, I would be that guy.
Jam.
Jam. Yeah.
Or
Sam
Son.
Snow, Son. Sam.
I like
Son.
jam.
Son.
John
I like
Well,
Jam too.
John-
Smuckers for short.
I like the Jam. I am Jam.
I see myself
Jam
more.
Snarly.
Jam Snarly.
Jam Will Snarly.
I like that.
Jam Will Snarly. I love it.
You
DJ Jam Will Snarly in the house. Jam Will Snarly. Oh my God.
It sounds like a Potter character now.
It does.
Crossover.
Defense against the dark arts.
Jam Will
teacher.
Snarly. God, put that shit on Tumblr.
Sectum Sempra.
Yeah.
Serpent Socia.
Serpent Sorcia, yeah.
I see myself as the Red Witch.
Melisandre.
Melisandre.
Yeah.
Like for reals?
Wow.
Because I
I'm checking for your tits.
no, because I'm like
You disappoint
7 years
me.
old, but I really look a lot younger than.
Oh my God. That glamour magic.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my
You're
gosh.
from Volantis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I'm gonna I want to say Jon Snow, but I don't know. Like, what would you guys?
I think
so
all
yeah,
guys-
is what
all
would you-
guys
all
wanna
guy-
be
that's what I'm
Jon
saying,
Snow.
like, I think all guys just want to say
George R. R.
Jon.
Martin, they asked him, which character do you
Would you
identify
wanna-
with the most? He's like, well, obviously,
Jon Snow.
who wouldn't want to be the classic hero, Jon Snow?
Right.
Yeah, so.
But he likes Tyrion the most.
Yeah, no, but they said, who would you be?
Oh.
Like,
Right.
choose to be. Yeah, and he chose Jon Snow.
Which for you guys, I'm gonna reverse that. Like, what do you guys think if
Of you?
Yeah, if I was a
I
Game
don't
of Thrones
know.
character.
Okay, so not Jon Snow.
It's
Not
alright.
Jon
also.
You're way too conniving to be Jon Snow. Maybe like
That
a
hurts my
Varys. Or,
feelings.
no,
Maybe
not
Dolor-
Varys. Like a.
I think
Dolor's
you could be
Edge.
Jamie, honestly. Why not?
Littlefinger.
Littlefinger?
Hmm.
Jamie?
Don't,
Why not?
don't,
Jamie
don't
Lannister?
inflate his ego.
No, I'm not,
Don't give
I'm
him
not
that credit.
inflating his ego.
Jamie
What about
or
Arya?
Littlefinger?
Can I be like Arya?
He's saying Littlefinger.
No,
No,
he said- he said Littlefinger.
Arya's too chaotic.
Dickon
I know
Tarly.
some people who would be Arya. Dickon Tarly?
Right.
That's who is Walter? I'm trying to
don't
remember.
know,
What's his
it's
name?
hard.
Walter would
the
be
cell
somebody.
sword.
Dario
Dario
Naharis?
Naharis?
No, not him.
Braun.
The
Braun.
Oh, you're
I
Braun.
could see
You're
you as
Braun.
I can
Braun.
see him kind of Braun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
You have
that I
skill
think
with a
about it.
sword.
Definitely.
No, but Braun's a lot more like, I don't know, like irresponsible and just like fuck it. I don't
I'm
know.
irresponsible.
And like immoral, I feel. I feel like for him, he's just like, no, not the alignment chart. He's like chaotic.
Good.
Chaotic
Neutral.
Neutral. He's chaotic,
Chaotic
neutral.
neutral.
Chaotic
Whereas
neutral.
what are you on the alignment chart?
He's more neutral good, I feel like. Walter? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Although I could be chaotic good.
Maybe you're the Iron Bank guy.
Oh,
Mycroft. I don't know.
Mark Gatiss?
Maybe because I've seen you in too many
Mycroft,
like
yeah, Mark
meetings
Gatiss,
where
Mark-
you're like the guy who has to like
I'm
talk
just
about
very-
like the boring shit that we
Very facts.
Yeah, like you're the Iron Bank dude.
Tyrion?
elephants for you.
This is.
Yeah,
should we
you're
put-
my.
I feel like we should put this up to social media.
We
Let's-
should.
Yeah, let's put it up
Okay,
to social media.
Who are
Who
the
do you
hosts?
think Walter Talens
Who is Walter
should be?
Talens in Game
Right.
of Thrones?
Yeah.
Red
Yeah.
Witch.
So we'll put that up, like I guess on a polls or somewhere online.
Yeah.
And we'll take a tally for next week.
Yeah.
I would
Okay.
love
That's
that. Yeah.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna game change because we haven't talked about the elephant in the room.
I know. I was just about to say the same thing.
The Arya.
But yes,
Gendra.
Alright.
Arya's sex scene on
Okay,
the show.
can we talk about our first impressions? Like,
I know Kaitlyn's first impression.
Yeah.
She was making this really repulsive, like dry heaving noise. I thought she was gonna vomit on my friend's
I
couch.
What
closed
kind
my,
of
at a certain point, I
repulsive-
just closed my eyes. I was.
Was it like a throw-up-y noise?
yeah, she was
you know,
like
as
dry
soon as she
heaving.
started taking off her gloves, you know where this was going.
right. Yeah. Absolutely.
No, but I mean, I mean, not that I like really enjoyed it in the same way that you wouldn't enjoy watching your niece that you raised.
I think that's
like,
really what it
have
is.
sex.
Right.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
at the
yeah,
same
yeah.
time, I was like, you go, girl. Like, get your sex on. You know, like, if this is the last night you're going to be alive and I were 18, I'd be like, fuck yeah, I'm going to have some sex right now.
I mean, wouldn't we
Like,
all?
Right.
Like,
That's what I mean.
No.
So, like, why hate on her for that?
So I will. Okay, I'll concede this.
Okay.
I don't. Maybe I did have a knee-jerk reaction, which is like, Arya is a sexual being. No, she's not. So a part of me was like, no, she still looks like a kid. It's so weird. It's like I grew up with her.
Right.
Can we just leave one female character who doesn't get naked on the show? You know what I mean? I just
Right.
like, just don't make Arya do that. Like, everybody else can show their boobs and cunts and like, I don't know, like, why does Arya have to do it? And then a part of me was like, well, Arya is a human being, and most human beings are sexual beings. So
Right.
I'm like, there's nothing wrong with Arya having sex. I'm okay with that. I think it was a combination of like the child factor where you grow up with a niece or a cousin, that combined with the fact that it was so, in my opinion, forced and kind of out of nowhere.
Right.
The whole thing just came off. And then the scene before, she seemed like she was trying to be a seductress with Gendry, and I was like, I don't feel like this is Arya. And it just felt weird. I don't know. What did you guys think?
I mean,
Oh, go ahead.
sorry.
Yeah,
I
no.
was going to open up a can of worms because
No, go
I've
for it.
been reading multiple articles online of like, oh, Arya should have shown more vulnerability as like a woman coming into her sexual prime.
I know some
Or,
people
like,
said that. I
Arya's-
don't think that necessarily has to have happened.
No, I don't think
Yeah.
so either. I mean, like, honestly,
It's
the
Arya.
more-
For God's sake.
All those people are projecting anyway.
Yeah,
so-
that's because they were
Exactly.
awkward on their first night. And you're
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, I was not awkward on my first, just so you know,
High
for
five.
posterity.
I
like, you know what? Neither was I.
Posterity.
Neither was I. I get a high five too.
You
I'm
know?
always awkward. I'm sorry. So,
Who's got 2,000 not awkward?
But this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. So, like, you know, like, if she wants to have her first time, like, why not go get it? You know what I mean? And
I
it
have
wasn't-
no problem with that.
Yeah.
It's, I think,
was it a story thing for you or a character thing?
it was partially. It was partially. I don't want to say Arya's not a sexual being because she should be allowed to express sexuality.
And
Right.
just
Arya-
because she doesn't look like a lady per se.
Well,
doesn't
my
mean that
roommate
she
asked
can't.
me this earlier
Yeah.
today. She was like, "Do you think you would have felt less comfortable if the actress who plays Arya looks a little more mature?"
Right.
And I thought about, it, I was like, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if she looked,
And
But that's on the viewer.
and she
Yeah.
said,
And
"Well,
not
that's on
her.
you."
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
I'm
And a
not
lot of-
saying. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, there was the party I was with. There was one guy in particular who felt the same way. He was like, yeah, I feel awkward seeing her, you know, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Because she
It's such a
aside from she looks
societal
young, but
thing, though.
he
You
kinda
like
feels
you,
like
you
he grew
spend
up
the
with
better
her because
part of
she
a
was
decade. It's like you
11.
grew up with this
Yeah,
girl. Yeah.
Right.
And I guess it was weird, and I think I shared the same thought as most of the people in the room when that started happening. I personally was just happy for her, like
Right.
her as the character. I was just like, yes, you get yours, like.
Yeah. I was the same way.
Because I
was
didn't
like,
even realize it. I didn't think about it until she said it. Like
Yeah.
I didn't realize she was a virgin. Like she never
Right.
had sex.
I mean,
never thought
it
about it.
makes
Like,
sense, yeah.
Because you know when she
She
was
was out
assassin,
killing people,
whatever.
yeah.
Like she could have
Yeah.
been doing stuff.
Yeah.
Who knows? But then she said it, and I was like, oh shit! And this whole time she's like, and I felt like when she did meet Gendry, she had feelings for him.
Don't
Like,
get me wrong.
Yeah.
I ship Gendry and Arya. I always have.
Yeah.
I always wanted them to get together. It
Correct.
seemed
So
inevitable.
to me, yeah, the way I was seeing, I guess I was putting myself more like in Arya's shoes, like where she's
Yeah.
like she's been pining for this guy, like she went through all these trials and tribulations, becoming an assassin, and he finally lands in her doorstep right there in her castle.
right.
Yeah.
You know,
See, I think almost that's kind of the crux of it. Like, people are questioning whether or not she was pining for him the entire time. Like, was he somebody that she
No, I
was
think
The
it
thinking
was
fact
about?
of the matter
hinted.
is, the showrunners weren't thinking about Gendry,
Right.
which is why he was absent this long. And then they had a plot point. We need to bring back Gendry so he gets deposited back into the story.
Right.
And they have to make this plot point happen. I believe that if George R. R. Martin intended for this to happen, it would have been played out a lot better in the books, and it would have been satisfying.
Right.
For me, a part of it was just like,
well, you haven't seen the last book yet.
Plot twist: George R. R. Martin's books come out and they're exactly the same as the TV
Yeah.
show.
I don't know. I don't think they would. Well, first of all, they can't be. They can't be.
Like word for word.
They can't
No,
be. Yeah.
even- it's just like
He's just like, fuck it.
it's not even formatted.
I'll just.
The last book is the script. It's just like
He's like, shit, I'm still gonna
straight
make
out of-
money.
This is straight out of Final Draft.
Written by D.B. Weiss and David
know.
Benioff.
Oh,
by
man.
George R. R. Martin.
People still buy it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, that'll be the day, Kaitlyn, when you eat your
Right.
words.
I refuse. I didn't like it.
And oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I didn't mind it at all. Really, I was just like in my head. I thought of two things. I'm a teenager. This is the last night on Earth, and I'm just like,
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
yeah.
It makes
Well,
sense.
Right.
yeah, and to me, I'm like, yeah, Sansa, like you've been waiting for this, and
Sansa or Arya?
sorry, Arya, and you've been waiting for this, and yeah, for me, it wasn't weird. Like we were just happy. Like the people were like, because when she started flirting with him, we were like,
Oh my God.
It was so
yeah, is she
awkward.
doing this? Is
It
she
was
doing
awkward
this?
as fuck though.
It was,
I
it was awkward as fuck.
Like we were
What?
like,
I was like,
we were like in the edge of our seat. We're like, is she going to
I
go?
don't
know.
like, when she
I
was
mean,
flirting with him,
I
it
knew-
was awkward.
I know, like her flirting game is not on point.
No,
Yeah.
it felt like something
really
out of
flirted
Degrassi.
No,
before.
exactly right.
What
It was like,
I just love the questioning though. Like,
How many women?
How many?
How many have you had?
Yeah.
he's like,
Why
like,
does she
"There
need
was-
to
I'm
know
not the
that,
red
though?
woman.
That is
She
also,
doesn't want to
like,
get
pretty
STIs.
yeah.
No.
Maybe she
A little
knows. She, yeah,
invasive.
you know, when
Well,
she went
Why
to
does she
Bravo,
need to know that info?
she doesn't want to get
just-
STIs.
I
I'm
guess.
just curious.
And then some people were saying like maybe she just wanted to know like he
How
wasn't a
experienced is
virgin.
he?
Like he
Yeah.
was,
How experienced is
yeah.
he?
Interesting.
and how many? Because she likes him, right? So she's like,
Yeah.
how many women do I have to compete with?
Oh.
Yeah.
If
Oh,
you-
'cause
And
she
then she
does
goes,
bring up
I'm
the
not the red
woman.
woman,
Are you-
okay.
Were you a
Yeah.
womanizer, you know, and stuff like that? And
Do you know how the actress Maisie Williams reacted when she read that in the script?
I gotta go to the gym.
Oh, you didn't?
Yeah,
She thought it was a prank.
she did.
Oh, what?
Yeah, because oftentimes the showrunners will put little pranks in the script to fuck with the cast. And when she
Right.
read it, she was like, ha, so funny, you guys. Where's the real script? And then
But
they're
then
like,
she was all in afterwards, right?
well, so the showrunners were like, no, that's not a prank. Because she went to the reading and she realized that part was still in the reading.
Yeah.
And so she went over to them. She's like, so this is actually happening. Like, this is real. And they were like, yeah, it's real.
And she realized
And
that
she was like,
no one.
oh, shit, so I got to go to the gym.
Yeah, because I think that she was saying like she was the only one
She
who
didn't
hasn't had
expect- yeah.
sex or a scene, and I don't think they've had a nude scene in the season or something.
Well, she
like that, too.
requested that it be like pretty low key. She didn't want it. She's
Right.
like, I don't think my character needs to show nudity.
And they
or
did well.
anything. Yeah.
They told her you could take this as far as you want.
So my eyes were closed. Was there any there was no nudity?
It
Yeah,
was
you saw
like-
you
it
saw
was
a
like her
side
back.
boob.
You
You
saw
saw a
side
side
boob. Her
boob,
side
right,
boob a little
bit.
like her
Like a
right,
crack or
right
something.
butt. No, you
Leg
saw
or
her right
something.
butt cheek.
Ah, okay.
And
So
side
like
boob.
It was
side
like
nudity.
a sliver of her side.
I thought it was.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was well
pretty
done.
tasteful,
and
yeah.
it's tasteful.
It's not trying to like overtly.
in your
It wasn't. It
face,
wasn't a
titties.
Daenerys.
Yeah, not dragon titties.
Emilia Clarke
Or even
nudity.
Missandei.
Miss
Sunday.
Sunday. Those are always intense.
full,
Yeah.
full on.
Full on.
So
yeah.
That was hot though.
yeah.
She's
That was great work.
so beautiful.
She's got a good body.
So we're running out of time.
Anyways.
One last subject: Bran and the Night King. What do you think is going to happen there, or what do you think of the whole like
my
reason
God.
behind why the Night King is after him?
Also, yeah, like in conjunction with all of that, I will have to say that I am very surprised that in the round table discussion, they didn't bring up Viserion and how they have a white dragon in
Right.
their
Do they know
ranks
that,
now.
They do because Bran said it in the first episode.
Yeah, so like I don't know if Bran's gonna warg into dragon, take over Night King. Bran's gonna warg into Night King.
He probably will.
You know,
I mean,
so,
they're still, and they probably still think they have the advantage because it's 2 against 1.
Yeah.
I heard an interesting theory that said maybe the Night King is skipping the Battle of Winterfell like
He
completely.
goes to.
and he's going to to
I
King's
believe
Landing.
it.
Well, that's
why?
interesting.
Not?
Yeah,
Oh, so they're
Because
gonna
he
spread their
literally
army
by
to two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he literally himself can take on King's.
because he's uncontested.
dragon
He's
can take
uncontested.
King's
Like what they
Landing.
said in the what was it last season? Like how many people live in
King's Landing.
King's Landing, and
Much
Tyrion
more,
said
yeah.
it. Like if the Night King gets here, he can easily take
It'll be
over.
a
Like
war
these
on
are a
2
million
fronts.
people he can take. So
Because
he's
they're
gonna
not
live-
ready for it, right?
They're not ready.
Yeah.
And if
And
you guys
they live-
remember, in one of Bran's visions, there was a shadow of a dragon,
Flying over King's Landing.
Yeah.
Oh my
and it was
God.
only one shadow.
One shadow.
And
Yeah,
they're
in
so
one of Bran's are there.
they're so packed there. Like he just kills 5 people, bring them back to life. Those 5 will create
fucking
50,
spread.
Yeah.
and it's just
Yeah,
a
it's
virus.
like a virus.
And because they're so packed in King's Landing,
Oh my
boom,
God.
army in a day.
Right.
Yeah,
And
it's like
now
a zombie
Nobody knows
apocalypse
about
in LA.
Dragon Glass there.
Oh my god.
Nobody
then it
knows
becomes
about Kingdom.
Kingdom.
Steel. Yeah. It becomes
Yeah.
Kingdom.
Then
the
they'll be
que-
fighting a two-fronted war.
Oh,
Yeah.
snap.
And then what happens
that's
to the?
probably what's gonna happen. Yeah.
But then the Golden Army
Is
will
also
they
there.
is
Will they
there?
leave
Will
in
they get
time?
infected or will they
Right.
fight? Will they start having to fight the?
Because they don't
the
know
Night
shit about
King?
They don't know about
Dragon
Dragon
Glass
Glass either.
Or maybe they did
So-
because Euron was at the council at the
Yeah, but they
Dragon
probably
Army.
weren't expecting to
Right.
fight.
They probably
Night-
don't have Dragon Glass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
unless we're lucky enough that they have Valerian
I mean,
steel
But how much
Right.
Valyrian steel did they
because
have?
they're from Essos.
Not a lot,
Yeah.
right?
Plot
Or maybe
twist:
some.
the elephants are alive. They're just saving their budget for the last episode. and
Valerian
they get
steel
turned into
trunks.
zombie-
Valerian
Dumbo
steel
comes
tusks.
in.
I know.
That wasn't a dragon
meme.
flying over.
That meme.
Kaitlyn. That was
Dumbo.
Dumbo.
I just saw Dumbo yesterday.
But I mean, how fortunate it would be like the Golden Army of Essos just happens to have Valerian steel swords because
Right.
they're so.
Maybe.
If
Well,
they do,
there
then
is
is bad
actual-
storytelling.
There's actual talk about how the leader, a lot of the Golden Company are actually descendants of
They're Blackfire Targaryens.
Targaryens.
Right.
So there is, in the books at least,
They
there
can
are
ride
that they
dragons.
have Valyrian steel.
That's
Oh.
true.
And that they're all basically exiled from that,
from
and they're just
Westeros,
coming
that's
back
right.
to claim their lands again.
oh my god.
Gotcha.
What
So-
if they get to King's Landing and they're like, you know what, this is our rightful.
But
Well,
that's-
here's the thing too: is
That's
just
never
like
been
everything else,
right.
like they've been mentioning. Oh, it's safe in the crypts. Oh, the wall has never been knocked down.
I can't wait.
They say that about the
gonna be
Golden
so
Company
big.
too,
So
epic, yeah.
right? They say the Golden Company has never broken a contract.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
They
So
can literally
this is
break
gonna
the
break.
contract.
They could probably
is the
gonna break a
winter of
contract.
Oh
It's
my
true.
God.
They're
Yeah, it is.
Targaryens.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Well, at
the
least the roots are
other
Targaryens.
thought to think about too is also remember Dany's vision. King's Landing was
Snow or
Snow.
ash.
This is-
snow or
yeah.
ash.
And she gets
Well,
betrayed
winter has
3
arrived, right?
times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
but
still
it
hasn't
was
been
like
betrayed
it
for a
was
third
like
time.
the roof was gone. Remember, like
Yeah.
the whole roof and like the snow or ash was coming in.
And I mean, mind
Yeah.
you, like
so something's gonna happen there.
this 1
Right.
hour and a half, like 90-minute episode is gonna be full on war, and then
Right.
the last 3 episodes are probably gonna be like the fallout and
It
or
could be,
the
yeah.
politics and like
Dream
could
of
be
spring.
yeah,
Right.
and them fighting the Golden Army or figuring out like well what happens.
It
now,
all
you guys
depends
know.
on what happens this next episode.
So,
Right.
like,
Agreed.
What's happening with Daenerys once she
I was
finds
just gonna
out
say, what
that
do you guys think of
Jon-
that? I
Jon
thought
tells
she
her the
took.
truth.
You thought she took it pretty well.
I thought she took it better than she could have.
She has taken a lot of just like losses this
Yeah.
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
Yep.
First the Jamie thing,
Yeah.
and then the Sam thing, and then and then this
And all
John
that
thing.
awkward
Well, and
thing
then
with
and there's
Sansa.
just the
Yeah, Sansa,
disrespect
yeah.
from the Northerners in general and Sansa.
Right.
She lost a child too, which is kind of surprising because she hasn't really reacted to that.
Right. That's kind
Oh,
of
the
odd.
dragon.
Yeah.
That actually pissed me off.
Whenever
she
she
should have been
doesn't react
way
to
sadder.
More
upset.
Yeah, way more
She
upset.
just looked slightly
She
confused
looked
and dazed.
She should have been like depressed.
Yeah.
Like, that's your child dying.
She
you
should have
know?
been like, you know,
She should have cried at
Catelyn
least.
Stark, like groaning,
Oh my
like
God.
Over Rob's death?
Over-
We should have
Red
seen
Wedding,
something like that.
Cat
Yeah.
Stark.
And they might have
Jesus.
just like not put that in for a time or for whatever.
I think
because-
it's because
No.
they're not good writers.
Oh no.
Oh my
and they don't know how to
God.
convey.
well, it's like, what are you gonna do? Show her like crying or like setting up like her over Jon Snow's bed recovering? You know,
I mean, look, she already had a child die in the first season. I believe that. She seemed genuinely
Right.
grieved over the fact that her child died of before she even got to see it.
Right.
She actually grew up with these dragons, and they've been her companions throughout this entire journey.
Right.
I think we should have seen a little more,
little bit.
I
just a
think
little
so.
more emotion than like.
I mean, she could have just been calloused from losing that first child to begin with, and she's just kind of like.
But a dragon, though, this was part of her vision to
Yeah.
take over the Seven
it's also
Kingdoms.
such a huge loss. Exactly.
yeah, I
It's
don't
like
know.
losing one
Militarily.
army.
Question
Yeah.
for you guys, and then we could probably wrap up. But they've had a lot of scenes where she's there,
Right.
and then she sees this sort of like love and devotion other people are showing other people.
Yep.
So like
Right.
Theon, the hug between Sansa and Theon.
Was
Yep.
she there? She witnessed it.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was
Oh.
there.
She was, yeah, right.
And then
Right there.
she sees
point.
how everybody loves and adores Jon,
Yep.
right? Whereas like everybody
Doesn't do that for her.
doesn't
No.
do that for
It's
her.
always like
Yeah.
this healthy
Even-
respect.
Yeah. And even
but it's
Jon
like
was-
it's like a genuine love and respect, and also
yeah.
Brienne for Jamie.
Right.
Right? She's seeing these acts of like genuine love and loyalty
Right.
toward these other people, and yet she's not getting it.
Yeah.
So
It's like, when
almost like they're setting up,
you just made me
A fatal
realize,
flaw.
like,
right?
well, not just that,
What?
but when Missandei tells her that she wants to leave with Grey Worm,
Right.
Will she let her
if they
go?
survive,
Yeah.
and so like
Oh, she says no.
because of all these
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
she sees and she
Right.
thinks that I have Missandei and Grey Worm who loves me thing, but then all of a sudden
Not
Missandei
really,
comes
yo.
in and be like, I want to go.
I'm
ma.
peace now. We're going,
We're going
to
to a
North.
beach.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about
And
that.
that might set.
She
I
would
could
say,
see
"I
that.
wish you well,"
That
and
might
give her-
set her
yeah.
off, and she'd be like,
Yeah.
"Nobody loves me," especially since John's been like giving her the cold shoulder.
Only
Right.
Jorah. Only Jorah loves her.
friend
then
zone.
he'll- then he'll
even
really
Sam,
exceed the
right?
friend
Like
zone.
that whole
No.
scene with Sam, she thought, she was really gonna get his like love and devotion,
Yeah.
and but then it turns out,
And she because he killed her.
and it just turned out to be
Burn that
really bad.
bridge.
So it's
Yeah.
like almost everywhere she's turning, she's not making
Yeah.
any kind
She's
of like
losing
outlet.
followers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if
She's losing her influence. So,
So
I don't know.
either-
It's just something to
either
think
she
about. I
does go
think
crazy, or she decides like, yeah, John, everyone loves you. You're the rightful king of the throne.
I hardly think she's going to do that.
You should take it.
No.
I think
My
she's going to
love.
switch into the Targaryen fire and blood if she finds out that people are betraying
Then
her.
John's gonna have to like stab her and become
That's what I'm
Azor
saying.
Ahai.
Why?
That's what I theorized from the very beginning, is that's what's going to
You
happen.
crying?
It's gonna be
You
sad.
crying,
Yeah.
Kaitlyn?
No, I'm
gonna be
just
sad.
thinking about it. Yeah, it's like.
I mean, I predicted this.
She's
And
had
will
plot
this?
armor the
Will
whole
the thing
predicted
is?
this
Will
is-
this all happen in this coming episode? Episode
No,
3?
it'll be
No.
Endgame, like towards the end.
Yeah.
Maybe the last
Well,
episode.
We're getting. We can talk about this.
She's
forever.
not going to die in the third episode.
No, I
She's
don't
gonna
think
die in the
so.
last
Way.
episode
No.
or the 5th episode, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
God.
we're all gonna watch it together
Yes,
and,
we will.
as a support network, right? Because it's gonna be
God.
It's gonna
either
be
way.
brutal.
It's gonna be a brutal episode. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Ain't no popcorn salty enough
No.
to
Damn.
keep my
Gonna
tears at
Damn,
bay.
damn.
Have to get some ice cream.
I know.
Yep. Lots of
Break
ice
up ice
Real
cream.
quick
Yeah.
though, I know. Like, I just want to say, like, how did you guys interpret Arya and Gendry? Like, him knocked out asleep, and she's like awake, looking out into
In the
distance.
afterglow?
Did you see the meme? There's like a meme that came out,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
Arya at the Battle of Winterfell, and it's some chick
She's
like
gonna
pulling
go
on her
insane.
pants, running through the snow barefoot, like total walk of shame. Yeah, she's like trying to pull on her pants. Yeah, I was like, damn, that chick, that really happened.
So
Oh
it's
my God.
like, was she was like, oh, that was it, or was she like,
I'm sure she was like,
I'm
we're gonna
I'm
die
thinking
tomorrow.
about dying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In
that
my
was
head, I
it.
interpreted
No.
it as her thinking about dying.
Yeah,
I think
Could be
I
their
think that
last-
was it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, what if her
I don't
first
know.
fighting
Or was she just like,
lessons-
damn, I should have gone with Pod?
I know.
Oh,
Dude,
no,
Pod
no.
singing. I was like,
Pod has a good voice.
Yeah, they gave me
Yeah.
shades of
Oh, that was
Lord of the
cool.
Rings.
That's right, he
Yeah.
sang.
Yeah.
Well, that,
Oh
that-
yeah, of Mary
Yeah.
singing.
In Denethor's court. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Plot twist. Gendry pulls off his mask, and it's Serial for
it's the wave.
Get out of here.
a
No,
girl
it's-
has no shame.
It's the wave.
It's the way.
A girl has no V card.
Jock and Hagar.
Guess what? You're still a V.
Oh, no.
All right. Well, I think
On that note,
we have enough speculation for this coming episode and for the rest of the
Indeed. Let's see
season,
how
really.
correct her wrong
Yeah, everybody fill out that Game of Thrones
Please.
death pool. You get to win these Funko Pops and some other prizes, maybe a gift card or two. In the meantime, we will see you next Tuesday, same time, 8 p.m. on twitch.tv/PanGeekery. Come see us then. Hit us up on the socials, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all at PanGeekery, and we will
Subscribe,
see you.
like,
Yeah,
and
subscribe.
follow.
Subscribe.
Subscribe.
Subscribe. Subscribe.
Not your date, Earl.
No,
it.
no, it never is. Never really is.
Oh, we
but
love
yeah.
you.
See you next week. Goodbye, everybody.
Good night.
Shout out to our sponsors once again. Take care. PanGeekery Podcast, covering all things geek from an all-diverse perspective. Visit us online at www.pangeekery.com.